Yeah, I said it, we are. This is Rock Nation. Pledge your allegiance.
It is a beautiful Friday evening here at Essentia Mustang Stadium. Wind is flowing from south to north at 9 miles per hour. It is 59 degrees, a beautiful cool evening here for some playoff action. It's the quarterfinal matchup here tonight. Mustangs hosting the Bismarck Century Patriots. Two teams that have a lot of history against each other. I'm Jackson Miller. Joining me alongside again in the booth is Dan Wolf. Dan, this is an exciting matchup. Playoff football is here once again for 2022, and the Mustangs, look to start off another road to a fourth straight Dakota Bowl appearance and a chance at a back-to-back state title runs. And this, like I said, these two teams have a lot of history against each other. They met in the Dakota Bowl in 2019, 2020. Century took both of those, but the Mustangs got revenge against Bismarck Century last year. They snapped their 29-game winning streak, and then the Mustangs also defeated Century earlier this season.
Absolutely right, Jackson. And, I guess it's a little bit different than the past few years where instead of ending with Bismarck Century, Cheyenne's going to have to go through them to start their playoff march if they're going to make it to another Dakota Bowl
championship. Ladies and gentlemen, a big Mustang thanks to
Probably not
Northwestern
the season that Bismarck Century fans are accustomed to. Those back-to-back state championships and just kind of the overall success that Bismarck Century has had in football under Coach Wingenbach, Ron Wingenbach. And this is probably not the team that they thought they were. This was a team that was winless until they played Bismarck High, and both Bismarcks were winless at that point, but they've been hot as of late, and they've made their way here to the semi or the quarterfinals as the 8th seed, the last team to get in, and their reward is to play a team that's been very solid since the second game of the season when they lost to Davies. Sheyenne has been really on a roll ever since then. They've handled everybody that they've come across, including just a few weeks ago Bismarck Century, as you said, Jackson.
Well, what's exciting is Fargo Davies is on Cheyenne's side of the bracket. As you take a look at the bracket that will pop up on the screen here, if Cheyenne beats Century tonight and Davies defeats Bismarck Legacy, Cheyenne and Davies will meet in the semis, and that will be played here since Cheyenne is the #1 seed. The higher seed has home field advantage for the quarterfinal and semifinal games. The Dakota Bowl obviously is held at the Fargo Dome. And then on the other side of the bracket is Shanley taking on Minot tonight and Mandan taking on West Fargo. So all of those teams are solid programs, and anything can happen in the playoffs. This is an exciting playoff bracket to look at.
I think there's as much parity. I mean, obviously Cheyenne owns the #1 seed and has played extremely well this year, but they got handled pretty well by Davies in the second game of the season. It's been kind of one of those topsy-turvy types of seasons, and as I said, Jackson, I think there's a little more parity than we've experienced in the last few years in what's now the 11 2A situation or bracket. And you're right. I think anybody can, beat another team. And so you have to really be sure that, for Cheyenne, even though you've beaten Century already this year, and it might not be the same level of program this year that it has been in other years, you surely don't want to look past Bismarck Century thinking about a chance at maybe revenge for Davies. And I would think for all these teams, with so few teams in the 2A, they end up playing each other. Most everyone has seen each other already this year, and so maybe this is the time that you start to maybe unveil a little bit more and, dig into your bag of tricks a little bit.
Well, Cheyenne definitely can't get complacent tonight because this is the worst time for that to happen. Century's won their last 3 games. They started 0-6. They finished 3-6.
Yep.
And, that is an unusual record to see the Patriots have, at the end of the 9-game regular season. We're used to seeing them either 8-1 or 9-0.
Right.
But the Mustangs, if they can just take care of business like we've been talking about, just take it one game at a time and, pound it on the ground and play solid defense, you know, it's going to be tough for them to be stopped.
That's right. You know, you don't look past tonight's opponent. You take care of business tonight. You worry about the result after the game, and then you can start to prepare for a team that you might face next week. So job number one, come out, worry about this game for the Mustangs, that's for sure.
So what do you think, Dan, in a matchup like this, what do you think the keys to the game are?
Well, you know, for the keys to the game, you know, I think offense, we know ball control is always super important for Sheyenne. This is not an offense that's prone to big plays and scoring in bunches. They like to ground and pound the ball, take it up the field, eat up a lot of that clock, push something into the end zone, and really kind of make the other team feel like they're behind. And so, you know, certainly a team like Bismarck Century, they're going to, you know, try and confuse and try and run some stunts that are going to make them have to work a little bit harder. And by doing that, that's going to make Sheyenne have to do some adjusting offensively.
Well, certainly for the Mustangs, their rushing game, I don't think anybody in the state has ran the ball as good as the Mustangs have in the past, 2-3 seasons.
No, they're definitely not. It just seems like year after year that they find people to fill in for people for players that have graduated and moved on.
You're now going to send it down, direct our attention down to the field for the national anthem.
Do I not get the flag? Yeah?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Essentia Health Mustangs Stadium for tonight's Class 11 AA state quarterfinal football game between the visiting Bismarck Century Patriots and your Sheyenne Mustangs. Sheyenne parents, students, fans, and our guests from Bismarck, we are proud and honored to welcome you to Essentia Health Mustangs Stadium. We would like to thank all the community members and stakeholders, as well as Essentia Health, for their generosity and support in making this event happen. Thank you again, and welcome to the home of Mustang football. This matchup between the Patriots and the Mustangs will be played under the strictest code of good sportsmanship. The North Dakota High School Activities Association, the Eastern Dakota Conference, and school administration encourage and promote good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We ask that you cheer for your team and be respectful of the opponent. As high school student athletes and representatives of their communities, the Mustangs and Patriots are committed to fair play, responsibility, and respect. They invite you to support their effort. Together, let us all help create an environment for high school competition that we can be proud of. Working the chains tonight are Matt Clayman, Mark Woodbury, Raleigh Swedberg, and Kyle Benjamin. And up in the press box, we have Darrell Lund, Gary Otterness, Darn Bardall, and my name is Cameron Holland. I'm proud to be the voice of the Mustangs. A huge thank you to all event staff for helping organize tonight's event. Also, thank you to our strength and conditioning staff, Raleigh Swedberg, Amos Conley, Andrew Knack, and Kyle Benjamin, for all of the hard work they put in to make our Mustangs ready for the next level of competition. Your hard work is always appreciated. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we ask you to please stand if you are able, remove any headwear, and remain at attention as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem by the Sheyenne Pep Band under the direction of Tristan Byer. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's meet tonight's cheer teams. First, for the Bismarck Century Patriots, Clara Ginther, Macy
Let's be prepared to meet the starting
Sabina
lineups here
Sanchez,
from both teams.
Alyssa
Dan, this is really what you want as a spectator and as a commentator, to see these two teams play in the playoffs, whether it's the quarterfinals, semifinals, or the state championship. It's just awesome whenever these two teams meet, regardless of what their records are.
Well, both programs with a lot of pride, and then the history that they have between them, and not to say that they hate each other or anything like that, but each one knows that they've gotten the better of the other on the way to a state championship, and so you've got to be prepared anytime that you run up against either of these teams.
Catherine Madriga, Logan Messmer, Mia Wenzel, Peyton Zeman.
So when we were talking about the running game, Dan, what makes the Mustangs so powerful in that category, I mean, you got Race Wilson and Caleb Deere. Race Wilson has 107 carries, 626 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Race is averaging 5.9 yards a carry, and then Deere has got 80 carries, 526 yards, 6.6 yards a carry, and he leads the EDCAA in rushing touchdowns with 9. So to have your QB1 lead the conference in rushing touchdowns, no wonder why they've been successful when it comes to the offensive end. When your QB1 can step up like that, as a leader and score the ball, that's definitely what you want out of your team.
Well, it really is, and Caleb Deere coming into this season. Of course, if you're a Mustang fan, you know that Grant Workentine had done such a fantastic job the past few years as the Mustang quarterback and leading them to that Dakota Bowl championship last year. But for Caleb Deere, it was all of this was kind of new to him, and certainly there were some growing pains along the way. But he's really come into his own. Especially probably the last half of the season, he really became a dual threat quarterback, and it shows with the number of touchdowns that he has racked up over the course of the season.
When Race Wilson, the running back who can just make anyone miss easily. He may not have a lot of mass, but Race Wilson is a strong guy, and he's very fast and elusive. He can just make anyone miss. Seems like everyone's bouncing off him every time. I mean, I wonder how many broken tackles exactly he's recorded this season. It's definitely a lot.
Well, it's been a lot, and he's made a lot of people miss, as you point out. And it's not just the speed, it's the shiftiness. The cuts that he makes has left a lot of defensive players wondering where he went when they thought they had him in their sights for a tackle. That's for sure. And as we look at on the defensive side of the ball, Jackson, when we're talking about some of the keys to the game earlier. For the defense, of course, playing in space was one of the things that we were looking at for tonight as being the key. I think really staying home, doing your job. I think Century is going to try and challenge Sheyenne a little bit through the air, and that's where if you can get a team down and they really feel, if you can make a team one-dimensional when you're on defense, then you can pin your ears back and go after them. And so I think for the defense, being good in space, recognizing where those areas are in the zone that need to be covered, and making tackles in the open field is going to be a very big key tonight.
Well, one player that definitely has stood out to me on the defensive side of the ball in the past couple of weeks is Marcus Johnson.
Yes.
I mean, he had that pick 6 against West Fargo, and it just seems like he's been going off on the defensive side of the ball ever since. And, he's really stepped up, as a defensive back.
Absolutely he has. That was a great pick 6 in that game against West Fargo. Sheyenne was fortunate enough to get that muffed kickoff and score right away, but West Fargo came back with a big run by Fowl, and you thought, well, maybe, West Fargo's kind of got the things settled down, and Marcus Johnson picks it off, goes to the house for 6, and just like that, Sheyenne up by 2 touchdowns, and that really kind of sealed that game early. So you're right, Jackson, he has been playing outstanding in the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Game is about to get underway. Playoff action has arrived once again for North Dakota high school football.
And we should point out, probably if you're listening to this broadcast, you were around for the beautiful day that this was. Much different than a lot of the playoff football games feel as the temperatures reach the 60s today. So it shouldn't be an issue. The weather at all, the breeze, what there is pretty light, but this should be a very conducive to scoring. Should be no reason to worry about, dropping the ball because of cold hands, cold ball, those sorts of things. And in fact, I would guess most players like it a little cooler than those early games in the season when it's 80 degrees and it's it can be hard to get through a game like that.
And here we go. We are underway. Century has their kicker boot it all the way down in the end, so it's going to be a touchback. And we'll meet the starting offensive lineup for the Mustangs as they'll have the first possession of the game.
Aiden Knodel, wide receiver, Independence Bulldogs. Let's ride.
Carter Okeson, left guard, Independence Elementary.
Bryce Kane, left tackle, Lucy Clark Elementary.
Mason Hart, right guard, the South Elementary.
Logan Wickenizer, center, the Horace Elementary. Buzz Buzz.
Kate Petchock, right tackle, Freedom Elementary.
Dylan Bile, wide receiver, Freedom Elementary.
Gaten Rar, running back, Freedom Elementary.
Race Wilson, slot back out of the Freedom Elementary.
Tino Deere, quarterback, Aurora Elementary.
Isaac Kanega, fullback, Independence Elementary. Go Bulldogs.
So Isaac Kanega was stuffed at the line of scrimmage. Century's defensive line with the big stop there on the first play of the game.
I think a lot of Century's chances tonight, Jackson, really are pivotal here in these first few possessions. If they can hold their own, if they can force a punt or two from Sheyenne, they're going to feel like they really have a chance. If you can prevent Sheyenne from dragging out a quarter, getting a long drive, putting in a touchdown, if you're Century, you're going to feel really good about that as a pickup of 2 on second down, bringing up a 3rd and 8. And this is not probably the area that Sheyenne would like to be in. They like to get those 3, 4, 5 yards of carry to leave yourself 2nd and medium, 3rd and short. So 3rd and 8, we'll see if Sheyenne goes to the air on the first 3rd down conversion opportunity of the evening.
Caleb Deere in shotgun. He's going to fake the handoff to Kanega. He's going to take it to the outside. Caleb Deere with a nice gain to the right side, and he's out of bounds, and Caleb Deere will pick up the first down on 3rd and 8.
And that's really where he's grown this year, Jackson. I think at the beginning of the year, understanding that pitch relation and how he can manipulate defensive players by just showing that ball, dipping that shoulder a little bit. He's come such a long way as a rusher as this season has gone on, and that was a great pickup there for Sheyenne to keep this drive going.
Caleb Deere picks up the first down. It's going to be handoff up the middle here, and great run. That's going to be around 4 yards. That one went to Isaac Kanega, the fullback, who can squat 515 pounds. He's got strong legs.
And that's exactly the type of play Cheyenne's going to hope for. You pick up 4 or 5 yards on first down. That puts you in 2nd and medium. And now that makes that defense have to think a little bit. Are they going to just run something again, or maybe set us up with a little bit of play action as we see the handoff there?
Yeah. It's going to go to Rar.
And he's going to pick up a few. Should leave 3rd and a short 2 or so, or a long 2 or a short 3.
So it'll be 3rd and short coming up. 3rd and 2 coming up.
So you can see that, gang tackling is going to be pretty key for Century. For the Patriots, they're going to have to get lots of guys around that ball because of the power of the Mustangs. And there they do.
There's
a
big
good job
stop
of
there by
blocking
Century.
that one up. Great job by Burkhardt for the Patriots there, blocking up that hole and stopping Sheyenne. Going to put them in a 4th down situation just shy of midfield. And in high school football, this is go for it territory, and especially when you're trying to make a statement with your opening drive of the game, that's certainly what Cheyenne's going to try and do.
This one's going to go to Rar again. And Caden Rar is going to try to fight for it, but Century might have made the stop there. He looks like Rar was short.
The far ref coming across the field, it looked like maybe there was a chance, but the ref on the near side had a completely different look on it, and that's the side of the field where the ball was. So the Patriots, this has got to be a very good sign for them in terms of stopping Sheyenne on a fourth down, a power play that Sheyenne runs frequently. That's for the Patriots. That's exactly what you were hoping for to start the game.
So Century forces a turnover, and here's their first offensive possession, beginning right around the 48. It's going to be a quarterback keeper here to the right side, and nice gain there, tackled right around the 41.
Number 10, Kyan Barth on the quarterback keeper. He's tackled by number 2, Ty Schlichting.
Ty Schlichting with the tackle. Kyan Barth is the starting quarterback for Bismarck Century tonight. Great size, 6'2", 200 pounds.
Well, and that's where the size is also on that offensive line there. They were able to, with Burkhardt and Edlin, kind of seal that outside corner, and Barth was able to get around and pick up a good gain of 7 there. But there
nice tackle there by Carter Menz in the backfield. Didn't let Barth get loose that time around the outside.
And number 51, Ross Olson.
Great job by Menz, and then Olson filling to finish it off.
So 3rd and 5. So the Mustangs trying to get a stop of their own here. Barth is going to roll to his left, throws across his body, and that's going to be
that was really
caught. Wow.
That was really
what a
well
catch.
done. That's very tough for a right-handed quarterback to throw moving to your left like that. And the receiver was well covered, but Century able to convert their first 3rd down of the evening. Brings up a new set of downs.
Both teams 1 for 1 on 3rd downs. 1st and 10. From inside the 35, this is a handoff to Gavin Lill, and he picks up just a couple there up the middle.
Great job by Nick Renner there, flashing from his linebacker position. He just picks his way through and then flashes right into the hole and cuts him down.
11:37 remaining in the first half. Fargo Shanley leads Minot.
Fargo Shanley leads Minot currently over at Fargo Shanley, as they are the number 3 seed. They're hosting Minot, who is the number 6 seed. 2nd and 8 here. It's going to be a handoff to number 22, Peyton Arndt. And great tackle there, wrapped up.
Number 22, Peyton Arndt on the carry for the Patriots. Stop was made by number 21, Marcus.
That was by Marcus Johnson with the
he
stop.
Flew up, and that's what you're going to have to have. You're going to have your corners and your safeties really come up and run support.
So another 3rd down here, 3rd and 8 from the 31. 6:15 to go here, or halfway through the first quarter. Barth takes a snap, drops back, looks across the middle, and it is caught by Gavin Lill. Another 1st down pickup on 3rd down. That was on 3rd and 8, so Bismarck Century moved the chains, and they are in the red zone now as they are inside the 20. So that's 2 first downs that Sheyenne has led up on 3rd down on a passing play.
That one just a little crossing route by Lill, kind of run into that traffic. Kind of a pick play to get himself free, and good job by Barth finding him across the middle.
Here's a motion, handoff to Arndt up the middle. Nowhere to go, stuffed at the line of scrimmage.
With 22, Peyton Arndt on the carry for Bismarck Century.
Mustang defensive line just collapsed on him there.
Weigel there.
And Ryder Weigel with the stop.
Loss of 1 on the play, bring up 2nd and 11.
2nd and 11, so it was a 1-yard loss. Gonna go to Arndt again up the middle, and he gets a nice gain that time. Slipped the tackle there.
He's gonna pick up, I think, 7 or 8 on that one.
Was a
It's gonna
great
lead
run
to 3rd and short, 3rd and about 3 on that. So he picks his way through the defense.
Yeah, he had a nice hole there up the middle. So now this is gonna be 3rd and 4 from the 15. Bismarck Century's 2 for 2 on 3rd downs. Can they make it 3 for 3? Arndt's gonna line up right next to Kyan Barth. And this is gonna be a quarterback keeper to Barth. Picks up a couple.
So decision time here for Century is they don't get the first down on the keeper by Barth. You know, I think if you're on Wingenbach, I think, you know, the stop that you're able to do on defense, if you can make a statement by getting a touchdown off of that turnover on downs, that's what you're going to try and do. So they're going to go for it here. So it says 4th and about 3.
Yep,
I think
so
it's
gonna
maybe
be
closer to 2 here, but regardless, this is a big-time opportunity for Sheyenne.
And Barth's going to keep it, and he's going to be slips a tackle. Connor Entz is able to bring him down, and he's going to be short, so the Mustangs make a stand inside the red zone.
You know, even though Chase Otterson didn't make the tackle, he slowed Barth down enough that allowed the rest of the pursuit by the Mustang defense to get in there and stop Century short of the first down. So a long field facing the Mustangs, but they return the favor, holding Century out of the end zone and turning them over on downs.
This one's going to be a fake handoff to Kanega.
Oh, I think that's a fumble.
It's going to be a fumble, and Century has it, and it's going to be a big-time stop for Bismarck Century again. Now they're going to have it really deep into Mustangs territory, and that is a big-time mistake from the Mustangs. Not what you want deep in your own territory. The Patriots are going to have it just inside the 10-yard line.
Yeah, I think Deere tried to do a little too much with that one. He was kind of held up, and I think he was looking to try and see if he could make that pitch, and the ball was punched out. Now the defense is called upon once again to see if they can, with a little bit of rest here, see if they can hold Century out of the end zone one more time.
This one's going to go to Arndt up the middle, and he fights for around 3 to 4 yards, tackled right around the 6. Carter Menz with the stop.
That's one thing Sheyenne has done consistently throughout the year, Jackson, is win the turnover battle. And it really doesn't matter the level of football you're looking at, whether it's high school, college, professional. If you don't win the turnover battles, it makes it incredibly difficult to win.
Absolutely. That's a great point. Especially, in the sport of football, the turnover battle is huge. 2 or 3 turnovers can cost you a chance at a victory. This one's going to go to Lil. Tries to cut back to the left. Great. Olsen was able to slow him down.
Good job staying home by Olsen there.
Forced him to
holding
the
up
inside.
his player, sheds the block and slows him down enough. So it's still 2nd and goal to go from the 6th. Or I'm sorry, 3rd and goal from the 6th. So this is, what you're hoping for.
This is what the Mustangs are known for, is making stands when it's inside the 10-yard line, or even inside the 5, as a matter of fact.
Backs against the wall. We'll see if Century looks for something out of the air here. Yeah, I thought
and
that
might
go to
be
coming.
Barth's going to look, and he's going to have number 84 for the touchdown, William Ware. He's a big-time basketball player for the Bismarck Century Patriots. And Century's going to be on the board first.
Now you got in, he faked that move to the inside and then just sprinted out, created that separation, and Barth, good job of just staying calm and delivering it on the money. And so that turnover is going to come back to bite the Mustangs. We'll see here after the PAT attempt if they can get the offense on track.
Great boot from the kicker there.
He slipped and fell, but still able to get it through.
A lot of velocity on that kick, nice and high. Bismarck Century with a 7-0 lead here. And boy, Dan, that's big time momentum, to to get, to get the momentum on your side. That's what you want if you're Century in a hostile environment.
That's absolutely. When you're on the road, if you can get out there and steal a lead like this, that is huge. And, if you think back to those Dakota Bowl games, that was the one thing that Century did very well, was put Sheyenne in a hole. Now, this is only a 7-0 hole. There's certainly no reason to panic for Sheyenne, but that's not the start that you were hoping for. So they're going to have to buckle down here offensively and see if they can grind something out. We're down to 2:15 left in the first quarter with Century up 7-0.
Mustangs are known for chewing up the clock. So the Mustangs are 0 for 2 on offensive possessions. Let's see if they can get on the board here, make it third time's the charm on their third offensive possession coming up here. Great boot there from Jangula.
Big leg.
It's going to be a touchback.
Mustangs will take over 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line.
So it's going to be 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line in high school. You get a touchback at the 20-yard line, not the 25.
So I'm guessing here maybe Coach Newton challenging that offensive line here a little bit to see if they can create some running lanes. We haven't seen Race Wilson handle the ball yet really at all, and kind of a surprise, and maybe that was a little wrinkle that Coach Newton had dialed up, planning that Century would be very much keying on Race Wilson.
Yep, this one's going to go to Pinu, and he's tackled at the line of scrimmage. Century really just their defensive line looking really solid right now. Yeah, we haven't seen a carry to Race Wilson yet. It's been going to Rar, Kanega, and then Pinu there on that play.
How many times can you say with less than 2 minutes left in the first quarter that Race Wilson
really
hasn't touched the ball yet? Again, maybe something that special that maybe Coach Newton had seen when looking at film, thinking something that they could do with that.
This one's going to go to Pinu again. Just nowhere to go. Century's defensive line just eating the Mustangs offensive line alive right now. And that's something we have seen in the past, and that's what really won Century those football games in 2019, 2020. They were just outmatching the Mustangs on the offensive line and defensive line.
And that's where it all starts, is if you can control the line of scrimmage, you're going to have your way all day long. And that's kind of what Century's been able to do thus far, is we're going to see the first pass of the night by Deere.
And he's going to roll it to his right. It's completed to Race Wilson, his favorite target.
That's going to be close to a first down.
Right around the 30-yard line is where Race Wilson went out.
So that's going to bring up 4th and less than 1, or about 1.
So Mustangs have to execute here. They do not want to turn over the ball here deep in their own territory again. Century already has a score. You don't want to make it. You don't want to risk going down by 2 scores early in the game. 4th and short. This one's going to go to Kanega, the workhorse, the fullback out of the backfield, and Kanega picks up the first down easily. And the Mustangs will move the chains. Well executed up the middle.
One of the better runs we've seen up the middle. Sheyenne hasn't been getting a lot of positive yards out of those runs. They've had a couple of them, but there's been just as many that have been stopped. We've seen a little bit better success on the outside, trying to get to the edge, and to this point, Sheyenne content to keep pushing that ball up the middle.
Caleb Deere, play action pass, drops back. It's deflected. He was looking for Dylan Bile there over the middle. Incomplete. Olin Taylor made the play for Century there. Got his hand on it.
Well, as a defensive lineman, you're always taught, if you're not to the quarterback yet, when you see him looking to get rid of that ball, you get those hands up and in the passing lanes, and occasionally you get lucky enough to bat one down, and that happened there for Century.
He's going to pitch it to Wilson, but great play in the backfield. It's going to be a loss of yardage there.
Strung out well by the Patriots. They were playing to the outside, and they had good support, and that was the right play on the part of Deere. That's what had to be done. It had to be pitched to Wilson, but sniffed out very well by the Patriot defense on that one, and that's a big loss. That's going to bring up a 3rd and 17.
This is rare to see from the Mustangs. And I'm telling you, you can't. It's early in the game, I know, but you could definitely smell it. I think the Mustangs came in here a little complacent, thinking that, oh, Century, 3-6, and their wins are maybe against weaker teams. But you can't take anything for granted here in the playoffs. That's going to be the end of the first quarter. The Bismarck Century Patriots coming out hot early. They lead 7-0. We'll take a short break and return for the start of the second quarter.
Our health. It's what keeps us doing what we love. It keeps our communities strong. So, how are you doing? There's no easier way to take care of yourself than checking in with us, your primary care team at Essentia Health. In person or online, we offer scheduling and appointment options that fit your life. We'll care for you today and keep an eye on things for the future. And if needed, get you back on track. So take some time to connect with us, because it's always good to check in.
So the start of the second quarter about to get underway. This is probably one of the most slower starts we've seen from the Mustangs this year, and it's, at the worst possible time in the playoffs.
Yeah,
we'll see if they can wake up.
Facing now here a 3rd and 17 to start the second quarter, and deep in their own end. Unless you can convert here on 3rd down or get a big chunk of yardage, you're almost looking at having to punt here if you're Sheyenne. So Deere, quick pass
to Wilson, his favorite target, but he's going to be stopped. So it's going to be 4th and long, and that is going to be a punt.
That's just smart play by Century. When they have to get 17, we'll give up 8, we'll give up 9, we'll give up 12. We just want to make sure that we don't let anyone get behind us. And Sheyenne opting to go for it here in 4th and 5.
4th and 5.
Near midfield.
Yeah, from the 40-yard line. Shotgun formation. Caleb Deere is going to keep it to the left side. Cuts back to the right, up the middle. Tries to fight for it. And
boy, I think that's
going to be
very
close.
That's going to be worth, I think that'll be worth measuring that one. That is close enough here.
Century feels like they've stopped him, of course. The bias, but
that was all effort by Deere, because there was no receiver to be looking for on that side, and that was read well by the Patriot defense. They had the outside lane closed down, and Deere just put his head down and pushed forward as far as he could. When he hit about the 40-yard line, it looked like that was a sure first down, and then that's where his momentum stopped. So we'll see how close they come here.
Oh, this one's going to be really close, Dan. It just has to be the nose, remember.
And just short. No. Yeah,
it's going to be just short, and Century with another stop.
By only a few links of chain, I think, but that's going to be a big stop in Mustang territory. That's twice now Century has done that. This is when, you're going to have to ask, as a coach, you're going to have to ask your defense to come up with something special at this point. You need Menz, you need one of these playmakers, Renner, you need someone to see if we can, pry a ball loose, create a turnover, get them a quick 3-and-out sort of situation. If Century's able to hang on to the ball and even just chew up time, they don't have to necessarily even score. But the longer that clock drags out, that's what's going to work against Sheyenne, as we see a 4-receiver set, twins on both sides.
This one's going to go to Arndt up the middle. Great play there by the defensive line, only a yard at most. Otterson there for the stop.
Just a gain of 1.
Gain of 1 on the play. It'll bring up 2nd down and 9.
Century can go up 2 scores here. That's going to be something that's big time. The Mustangs will be, it's something, we've never seen the Mustangs in a hole like this.
Not this year.
Even 7-0, it's just rare for the Mustangs to be in the situation like this. 0 for 3 offensively on their drives. And Century has a chance to go up 2 scores. Something you don't see a lot. Pass to the left side, incomplete. Almost caught, but batted away. Great coverage. That was coverage by Connor Entz.
Yeah, that was good position by Entz going up. That was
great attempt.
It really was. I think that was Brynjolfsson they were going for, and he really elevated on that. I didn't think there was much of a chance, and then seeing him rise up as high as he did, a lot closer than you would have thought.
So it's going to be 3rd and 9 from the 44-yard line. 10:41 to go here in the second quarter. Mustangs trying to limit some damage here and get a stop. It forces a lot of pressure in the backfield.
There.
Incomplete. And that is a stop you needed there.
It was good coverage, and the ball thrown behind the receiver as he was going for number 16 there for Century,
Finn
Gullicks. You know, Barth could feel that pressure coming on him and wasn't able to stop and set himself, had to throw on the run. And so Ron Wingenbach here opting to see if they can pin Sheyenne deep with the lead, and they've, you know, your defense has played incredibly well thus far. Hey, let's just let them keep doing what they've been doing.
Great punt here. It's going to bounce right around the 15 and 16 yard line, so the Mustangs will have 84 yards to go here.
We want to thank Essentia Health for being the proud sponsor of our Sheyenne High School's Mustang media team and this broadcast. Essentia Health, care close to home.
The Mustangs trying to get on the board. This is their 4th offensive possession this evening. We haven't seen an 0 for 3 offensive possession start.
This is a drought for the Mustangs in terms of this year.
Isaac Kanega lines up behind Caleb Deere. This one's going to go to Wilson. He cuts to the left side and just met at the 1 to 2 yards past the line of scrimmage. Century's defensive line is really stepping up this evening.
They're winning the battle up front. There's no doubt about that. The holes that Wilson and Kanega and Rar have seen routinely throughout the year just aren't there. If they are, they're there for such a short amount of time that if you're not through it immediately, then the hole is gone and you're in trouble. We're just having trouble making a lot of inroads. And again, like we've said, Cheyenne likes to be in that second medium, 3rd and short situation, but here they gain only 1 and now they're at 2nd and 9.
This one's going to go to Kanega. Met again, just nowhere to 1 to 2 yards at most. And this is something that you just can't get too predictable here. You got to maybe find a trick up your sleeve or something to get a big gain here. 3rd and 6.
For Cheyenne.
Certainly the battle in the trenches is being won by Century right now. We'll see if the Mustangs can pick up the first down here. 4 receivers set.
Empty backfield.
Yep.
Something you don't see very often is
Caleb Deere looks to his left side and almost had him downfield. That was intended for number 4, Noah Olson.
The Cheyenne bench, of course, lobbying for a pass interference, but no PI call on that one, and that brings up a 4th and 6 from your own 20. There's no doubt of what to do on this one, Jackson. You have to punt this one away with 9:10 left here in the second quarter. And keep in mind, Century kicked off to start the game. They had deferred, and so they're going to get the ball to start the second half. So if you can make something happen here, it's a little low line driver. Good bounce for the Mustangs, picked up by.
Yeah, it's going to be returned by number 2, Ryan.
That was picked up by. Yeah, that was Brynjolfsson there that took it. Good punt, good flip of the field here. But as I was saying, Jackson, if Central can grind out a lot of time here and maybe even find a way to score, boy, to go up by 2 scores and then know you're getting the ball quick or at the beginning of the second half, that is huge. So again, Coach Newton's going to have to call on his defense here to see if they can make a big stop and give the offense another opportunity.
There's a motion. It's going to be a handoff, a jet sweep, and he trips. That was number 6, Mike Tradorsky.
Nick Renner was right there, but I think he kind of tripped up and made it pretty easy for Renner as he kind of slipped on the turf there. That's going to be a loss, I think, on that one. A loss of about 3, so bring up 2nd and 13.
Bring up 2nd and 12 for the Patriots.
Second and 12. Fake handoff to Arndt.
Barth holds on to it, but met by a gang of Mustang tacklers. kudos to this defense. They know the position they're being put in here and what's being asked of them, and they're rising to the challenge every time. Kind of hard to blame the defense when you give up a touchdown from your own 5-yard line. There's just not many times you're going to be able to keep a team like Century out of the end zone. But beyond that, Cheyenne's defense has played very well tonight.
3rd and 12. Barth's going to drop back. Pressure. He's going to be forced out of the pocket. Throws across his body. Ho, ho, ho. Almost intercepted.
Men's almost got that one.
That was a dangerous, dangerous throw over to the middle.
Yeah. And he did have a receiver, but just overthrew him there. And so, once again, the defense holds tough. Going to force a 3 and out.
Certainly making us feel better up here in the booth, Dan. The defense is just coming through right now. Besides the one, you can't, the one score that Century, they were deep in, they were at the 10-yard line. You
can't blame your defense for that. They had already done their job, and, unfortunately, Sheyenne turned the ball over and gave such a short field. There wasn't much to be done. But at 7:24, the offense needs to put together a drive here, and it's almost not even a drive that, we're not just trying to build some momentum here. This is a drive that you almost have to come away with points here, I would think.
$7:24 to go here in the first half. The Mustangs trying to make, just get something going here offensively. 0 points deep in the first half. This one's going to go to Kanega up the middle. Decent gain, 3 or 4 yards.
Number 20, Isaac Kanega on the carry. Number 50, Jackson Walls on the stop for the Patriots.
Walls on the stop for Century. Pick up a 3.
That's a gain of 3.
It's a start.
2nd and 7, not an ideal gain, but it's better than picking up just 1 yard. We'll see who it's going to go to on this play. Kanega lines up behind. Caleb Deere again. And it's going to be, nearly turn it over. Caleb Deere falls on it. And my, this is really getting out of hand, getting close here. That's almost 2 fumbles that occurred there. Or the best, that was 2 fumbles, but almost, that could have been twice.
Turnovers,
almost 2 turnovers.
Score update from Bismarck. In the second quarter, it is Fargo Davies.
3rd and 10, so another deep 3rd down. It's been a defensive matchup in this game. And really, the only time Century scored was, they only had 10 yards to go. Other than that, Cheyenne's defense has been successful tonight. And that goes right through Dylan Biles' hands.
That was a great pass. It was to Bile. I'm not sure if it was enough for the first down, but that's one that Bile wishes he would have gotten back there because he was open and got just through his hands, got on him quickly. Would have at least been at a point that Sheyenne might have considered going for it. So a 3 and out for the Mustangs. That's kind of what this game has turned into, kind of a defensive slugfest, with the only points coming off of that turnover by Sheyenne deep in their own end.
So another 3 and out stop for Century, and this one's going to be returned by Lil. And he's going to be tackled right around the 37-yard line. So we'll see if the Mustang defense can come up big here again. They certainly have the past few drives.
38-yard punt for Connor Entz. And a return of 7 yards by Lil, bring up 1st and 10.
There's been no scorer with a super long drive yet.
No, that kind of that hallmark that we've seen Sheyenne do, and for that matter, really neither team has moved the ball. I would be shocked if either team had much more than about 70 yards of offense here in the first half. It was just that turnover deep in their own end. Great job.
Men's almost got there. Barth escapes. And it's going to be, he was nearly sacked.
Men's had a chance for a big loss, and somehow Barth just kind of squeaked out of there. Case and Men's had a chance at him as well, and just couldn't.
So he did get a gain of 2 out of that, so he avoided a 5 to 7 yard loss and turned it into 2 yards. It is positive, so not the worst outcome. So it's going to be 2nd and 8 from the 39. 5:15 to go here in the first half. Handoff. Up the middle, nowhere to go. That was Peyton Arndt on the carry once again. So it'll be 3rd and 7.
Well,
a possibility of another 3 and out here.
Well, at 4.5 minutes, you wonder, is Coach Wingenbach, if they don't convert here on 3rd down, do you go for something risky or just go ahead and pin Sheyenne hopefully deep and bet that they can't cover enough ground in the time remaining in the half, knowing you get the ball to start the second half?
Barth throws over the middle, and it was
caught by Brynjolfsson.
Brynjolfsson
wow,
says he had it.
That was really well done. That ball was very low to the ground, but the refs say that Brynjolfsson got his hands underneath, and that brings up a 4th and short.
So Wingenbach's going to opt to go for it here, of course. 4th and 1.
With 4 minutes to go.
What do you have to lose? You're up 7-0.
Well, at 4 minutes, if you get stopped here, I wouldn't be shocked if Century doesn't maybe try and do some kind of motion, something that's designed to see if they can get Sheyenne to jump off sides. It looks like Wingenbach's just going to wait till the play clock nearly expires, and he's going to take a timeout and think about this and maybe discuss with his coaches how he wants to proceed at 3:45 to go.
7-0. We'll take a short break. We'll be right back. So we're back here. Mustangs trying to make a stop here on midfield. It's 4th and short coming up. Wingenbach opts to go for it here. It's 4th and 1. If not even a full yard, it was almost a first down. Reception by Ryan Brynjolfsson, number 2. He's had a couple receptions over the middle there tonight. So this is going to be a big stop here. We got 3:45 to go here in the first half. Barth under center.
Yeah, I think they're looking to see if they can draw him off sides, and
looks like it's not working well.
Cheyenne's going to bite on that one, and so they're going to
be
take another
timeout.
timeout.
There we go.
They're going to take a timeout, bring on the punt team at 3:45 to go again. It's a percentage play by Wingenbach. If you can get about a 30-40 yard punt here, pin Sheyenne deep. They don't have chunk plays that they go ahead and that they do. So that running game, it's going to be very difficult to cover 65, 70 yards in 3.5 minutes for Sheyenne. So,
but we've seen for late 2-minute drill drives from Cheyenne in the past. We certainly saw it against Shanley earlier this year. See if they can give it to Wilson or something. Maybe he can make a big play and make a guy miss and pick up 20 to 30 yards. And that ball is going to roll back forward, so it's going to be right around 34.
Bounce. So 66 yards to go and 3:36 on the clock here in the second quarter.
It's certainly possible.
Oh, absolutely it is. And, that is the one thing with the running backs that Cheyenne has and the skill position players. They are capable of breaking tackles. But right now, that defensive line for Century has come to play tonight. They are holding up very well against the Mustang offensive line. So we'll see if Cheyenne's going to opt for more of their traditional look, or maybe, again, this is maybe where you bring one of those plays out that you've been, the specialty plays, situational plays that you have, but they go with the dive right up the middle here to start things. Is that Rahr on that one?
There's Nick Renner on the carry.
Makes an offensive appearance.
It didn't look like Caden Rahr. Yeah, it was a shorter fullback. Nick Renner is certainly a very good linebacker for this Mustang squad. Yeah, but he's going to be put in there at fullback. Interesting move there by Coach Newton. And this one's going to go to Wilson. And Wilson makes a nice cut to the right, and that's what he does. Uses that elite ball carrier vision that he possesses, picks up around 8 yards. And, you know, certainly he's the leading receiver on this Mustang offense.
So this needs to be a quick turnaround here for Sheyenne. That's where the pressure comes in. You need to be quick, but you also have to make sure everyone knows what the play is. They're going to get up to the line quickly as the clock continues to tick down to 2:35 here to go in the first half.
This one's going to go up the middle again, nowhere to go.
I think they're going to look like the his forward momentum is going to give him a first down here, I think.
It didn't look like he got it based on the... Oh, they did. Yeah, it looks like he did get it. It didn't look like it on the replay. We'll see. They're looking at it. We'll see if the Mustangs can.
There it is.
Yep, it's going to be a first down. We'll see if the Mustangs can maybe, you know, it'll be interesting to see if they can, you know, make that little screen play or that dump off pass to Wilson that we certainly see him break free for a big touchdown before. 2:28 to go here in the second quarter. Nick Renner's still in there at fullback, and it's going to go to him up the middle.
Oh, they dropped.
Oh, and he fumbled, and Century says they have it.
And that's one of those instances where, you know, certainly Nick Renner, a very capable football player, but probably hasn't gotten the number of reps at fullback that everyone else has. And so when you're sticking that ball in there for that fake handoff or that read option play, you know, they're just not used to, between he and Deere, they're not used to that exchange. And the second turnover of the night, we talked about it, Jackson, the turnover battle. It's really hard to overcome that and find a way to win.
It's 2 turnovers already. And, you know, this is just, it's weird. I don't know what changes were made, but we certainly have never seen the Mustangs play this bad offensively. So Century will get the ball back. Barth looks deep. And he has him, and it's going to be a touchdown. And Century has a 2-score lead. Brynjolfsson with that big-time touchdown catch, and what a throw by Barth there over his shoulder, and just perfect placement. And now this is big-time momentum for Bismarck Century.
You know, analytics talk about that middle 8, Jackson, the last 4 minutes of the second half, or the first half, and first 4 minutes of the second half, and it looks like Century's really kind of playing that to perfection at this point as they come away, first of all, with the takeaway on the fumbled snap.
To the left side, the extra point is good. Century with the 14-0 lead here. And Dan, this is, if you're the Mustangs, you certainly can't panic, but you're gonna, you know, just take care of it here, late in the half, you know, just try to get out of the half here and maybe go in the locker room and just say, hey, there's still another half to be played. Well, Century is going to get the ball first, but, you know, you certainly cannot allow any more big plays. And certainly the offense has got to get going. I mean, this is something we haven't seen all season long, but I'm telling you, I said at the beginning of the game, the Mustangs, they can't get complacent, come in here thinking that Century's a weak team just because they had a few wins over, you know, weaker squads. You know, Century is going to come ready to play playoff football.
Absolutely right. And so this, again, Cheyenne's offense not really built for those chunk scoring opportunities, but with 2:07, you're going to have to kind of peel the lid back here, and you're going to have to try and make something happen in a short period of time if you're Cheyenne.
The 39 Christian Daniel to kick off for the Patriots. Back deep for the Mustangs. Number 3, Race Wilson. Number 27, Caden Rahr. And number 28, Barry Panu.
You know, this will be a good test. I think this is really good for Cheyenne. You know, they don't go through adversity like this very often, and you know, this is where you see what you're truly made of mentally, especially, you know, the mental toughness is a factor here.
Well, this is a returnable kick.
It's going to go to Wilson,
start with this,
and Wilson fields it right around the 15. He tries to find a lane, makes a nice gain up to around the 30. So a 15-yard return.
And we have an injured Patriot on the field. The training staff comes out to take a look. Look like number 23.
Oh, that seems like he's in good amount of pain.
Cole Radens.
Hopefully he's okay.
Scoring update at halftime. Fargo Shanley 21, Minot 7.
Fargo Shanley currently leads Minot 21-7 at halftime. And they will the winner of that game will play the winner of West Fargo and Mandan. West Fargo traveled out to Mandan this evening.
13, West Fargo High 0.
And Mandan, we got a scoring update as well. Mandan leads West Fargo 13-0. So the higher seeds in those two games in control there.
Davies was leading Legacy. I believe they said it was 15-0. Jackson. So
this is the only game out of the 4 games where the lower seed is winning right now.
As we've talked about in the volleyball broadcast as well, Jackson, you know, we keep talking about you got to play your best at this time of year. As we see the Patriot up and walking off under his own power, which is good to see. But, you know, when a team gets hot at the right time, if you can time that out and you start playing your best football, best volleyball, best basketball, you know, that's what every coach, whether you're the 1 seed or the 8 seed or anywhere in between, that's what everyone's hoping to do, is kind of catch lightning in a bottle and see if you can't play your best football at the time that's most important.
Caleb Deere is going to drop back. It's going to be a quick pass. Almost intercepted by number 2, Brynjolfsson, who caught the touchdown pass. He's looking for Noah Olson there.
Yeah, just a little high. Had him on the slant. And Olson was open, but thrown a little high and behind on that one.
So 2nd and 10, inside 2 minutes here in the first half. Caleb Deere is going to drop back again. Quick pass to Aiden Canolo. Makes a nice gain up to the 40.
And out of bounds, so they don't have to.
Great job by Aiden Canolo there to get out of bounds.
And good job fighting for some extra yards. He picked up about another 5 yards on that after the catch. Tough yards of running and taken out of bounds, so they don't have to burn a timeout. Only use 6 seconds on that play. It is 3rd and short. You got to pick up the first down first, so if you need to use some kind of running play here, you sure can.
Caleb Deere is going to be a quarterback keeper to the left side, and he picks up the first down easily and gets out of bounds, so that'll stop the clock again. Great job by Caleb Deere.
So they moved the chains, stopped the clock. 4 seconds is all that's used, and they're almost at midfield. So it's been a long time between first downs for the Mustangs. I think that first drive, maybe Jackson was the only other one we've seen thus far.
So 1:48 to go here. The Mustangs were able to stop the clock on the past 2 plays, and they got good gains out of them too, so a win-win situation there on those plays. Caleb Deere drops back again. He gets pressured from his blind side and almost intercepted there. Great defensive coverage. He was looking for Aiden Canolo there, and that was a dangerous pass. Nearly intercepted by Tyler Burst, number 7.
That was great closing speed by Burst there. Just coming in and almost able to come up. And that would have been a pick 6 for sure. But the ball falls harmlessly to the ground, and so 2nd and 10 with 1:42 to go here for the Mustangs.
2nd and 10 from the 43. Caleb Deere is quick pass to Aiden Canolo, and he drops it.
Looks like Canolo had his eyes up the field before he actually caught that ball. He was looking to make that play to make some yards and didn't look it into his hands. So you miss out on some yards and you lose that down. So now it's a 3rd and 10, still with all 3 timeouts to go, but you need to be making some chunks of yardage here.
You know, one thing that's interesting about this game is, you know, the Mustangs are going to have to learn sometimes to play from behind. Let's see if they can adjust to that. Caleb Deere looks deep and almost found Olson. Looked initially like he was going to catch it.
Behind Olson, but it looked like he got enough of the ball that he could have had that one. But his momentum was heading towards the outside, and wasn't able to turn around and make that catch. And so at 4th and 10, they're going to go ahead, and Entz is going to go ahead and punt this one away. And I would think Coach Wingenbach, we'll see, you know, maybe they're going to see if they can try something big down the field.
Well, they'll have the ball at the start of the second half, as you said, Dan.
But why not maybe give a chance, see how this return goes?
This one's going to be by Gavin Lill himself.
There's a flag on that one, our first flag of the night. It's been, you know, for all of this, it's been relatively
clean football.
Very clean. Only our first penalty of the night with only a minute 19 to go in the quarter. And I guess that's going to be an illegal block. And that's going to back Century up. And if that's the case, you know, I think if you're Coach Wingenbach, then now this is the time to take a knee and
get out of half. You got the lead 14-0, you know, and you get the ball at the start of this for the second half kickoff. Certainly, this is probably the best game I think Century has played all year, and they've won their last 3 games. So this is a team that is hot. And Sheyenne, it looks like based on their performance that you never know. You know that sometimes teams can underestimate another team that's.
Well, Jackson, one of the keys to the game offensively to start was making adjustments. And so that's something that Coach Newton is going to have to make adjustments. And as we have an officials timeout here, you know, they're going to have to make some kind of adjustments at halftime. You're going to have to open up the playbook a little bit, and you can't kind of rely on those long, grinded out drives maybe. You're going to have to look downfield a little bit more than normal when you're down 14-0. So
Century just going to run out the clock. This one's going to go to Paynar to the right side, and he cuts back, makes a great juke there, and made another guy miss.
So we're going to see if Cheyenne's going to burn up their 3 timeouts here. And the clock continues to roll. So at 2nd and 1.
We're inside a minute.
Yeah. You know, if you're Wingenbach, do you maybe just take a shot? Send a guy along. Just, you know, see if you can convince Sheyenne that you're running the clock out and maybe just try and take a shot down the field. I mean, this is playoff football, so you don't you're not playing to you know, to be friends here. You're playing you're playing to win, and if you can get away with something like that, that might be something worth trying at 34 seconds left here.
You know, at some point or now and then, you know, when it gets to these important games like this, you got to take some risks.
Well,
and
you
just hope that they pay off.
You absolutely do. So maybe an RPO here, a little fake handoff, a little fake dive, and maybe you send someone long, and if it's not there, if you're Barth, just put your head down and turn upfield and get as much as you can. As we see the pass
Barth's
here,
going to drop back, and he's going to go for it. It's going to be deep, and that could have been caught. Olsen jumped way too early there to play the ball. Almost interception, but almost a reception at the same time.
That ball fluttered from the get-go, and it looked like Noah Olsen had a beat on it, and then he cut the ball, and then ended up almost being a reception by the Patriots.
Adam Vignes, number 4 there, was right. It was like a basket catch right there for him.
Dropped right in on him.
So 6 seconds left, and I think Senchi will just get out of it here. They got a 14-0 lead, and boy, if you're Century, you've got to be pumped to come into the #1 seeds territory and be up 14-0 at halftime. Certainly, Century's going to be very happy with that first half performance. The Mustangs are going to have to find a way to figure out things offensively, as you know, that's probably the worst first half offensive performance we've seen from the Mustangs this year. Actually, maybe tied with first half offensive performance with Davies, but I mean, it's certainly that game and then this game. It's been a disaster offensively. So hopefully they can flip things around in that category.
As I mentioned, Jackson, one of the keys to the game, as we said, was offensive adjustments, and so that's going to fall on the Mustangs to see if they can figure something out that's going to be able to start moving the ball and sustaining drives and get some points on the board, and then make sure that your defense is able to hold up the same way that they have. We know Century gets the ball to start the second half, but certainly a tall task ahead of the Mustangs as we go to halftime here with the Patriots up 14-0.
Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll come back a little bit before the second half to give our little halftime, our second half preview analysis and get the game underway again for the second half. Sheyenne is in a 14-0 deficit here at halftime. We'll be right back.
Here, when your future lies ahead, we help set you on the right course. When your whole world is about to change, we help you prepare for your new life. When staying healthy means staying informed, we help you find answers. This is perseverance, understanding, connection. These are remarkable people doing remarkable things together.
Our health. It's what keeps us doing what we love. It keeps our communities strong. So, how are you doing? There's no easier way to take care of yourself than checking in with us, your primary care team at Essentia Health. In person or online, we offer scheduling and appointment options that fit your life. We'll care for you today and keep an eye on things for the future, and if needed, get you back on track. So take some time to connect with us, because it's always good to check in.
Here, when your future lies ahead, we help set you on the right course. When your whole world is about to change, we help you prepare for your new life. When staying healthy means staying informed, we help you find answers. This is perseverance, understanding, connection. These are remarkable people doing remarkable things together.
We're back, folks. The second half is going to get underway in 5 minutes or so. Century leads 14-0, and Dan, this is certainly, territory that we've seen, in week 2. We saw this in week 2 when Sheyenne played Davies. They are in a first half, deficit here, and, coming into the second half here, Sheyenne has definitely got to get things going offensively, and most of the time, the way their offense works, it's hard to play that way when you're behind. So we'll see if they, what adjustments they make.
You're absolutely right, Jackson. This is, as we've said, this offense, the way it's designed, the way it's built, you can control games and you can dominate games when you get up early and you can ground out a bunch of drives and those sorts of things. But Sheyenne is not used to, and they're not built for, coming back from deficits and being down 2 scores. It's hard at 1 score, but 2 scores with the opponent getting the ball to start the second half, that's going to put a real premium on offensive possessions in the second half, because you may only get a handful of them. I think it's going to have to start with the defense. They're going to have to try almost for that first 3-and-out sort of stop. If Century is able to grind, even 30, 40 yards and eat up a good chunk of that third quarter clock, that's really going to hurt Sheyenne. They need to try and see if they can either create a turnover, and maybe as a staff they're talking about going for punching balls out, for stripping the ball, seeing if they can create some kind of turnover. And let's be honest, Barth has been loose a couple of times. He's made some really good pass plays, but he's also been a little loose with some of those passes, but we've not been able as the Mustangs to try and to get an interception on that. So I think to start, you're going to have to maybe start dialing up some pressures, maybe bring some blitzes. You're going to have to try and do something to see if you can create a turnover, and then you've got to take advantage. Before the game, we said one of the pregame keys to the game was making adjustments. Well, it's halftime. This is where the head coach and the coordinators, they get together and talk about what is it we're seeing, what can we take advantage of, how can we try and flip this momentum and see if we can get our home fans in on this. It's about as quiet as you've seen the Mustang Stadium in, I don't even know the last time, because they've played so well at home over the last 4 years. It's just really kind of eerie that it's so quiet. The fans, I think, are just waiting for something to get excited about. But unfortunately, Sheyenne hasn't been able to string anything together consistently offensively. The defense does its job, but then, nothing happens on offense. And we saw that throughout the second half of the first quarter, all the way almost up until halftime, just the 2 turnovers. That's what's killed Sheyenne.
Well, this is the same deficit we saw in the game against Fargo Davies. Fargo Davies is up 14-0, and the Mustangs, allowed a big run from Luke Lorenz. He broke up the middle. They were deep in their own territory, and Lorenz just, he's got blazing speed. He was able to break free and score for a touchdown early in the second half, and that just really deflated things. And and the Mustangs are coming off a possession, right before halftime, where they were not able to punch it in. If they scored on that drive, that would have changed the game.
It would have had a total different feel to that. And so this almost feels a little bit like that West Fargo game that Sheyenne had, except in reverse here. It's like you're trying to get back, and if one thing goes wrong here, if you went down 21-0, boy, that would seem to be insurmountable for Sheyenne at this point. So definitely this is going to be key for them, this first opening sequence on defense and the first opening drive on offense. You're going to have to score now. First half, you're like, well, it'd be nice to score. It'd be nice to get some momentum. No, I think this is a situation where you have to get a score in that first possession when you touch the ball offensively.
Well, it just, it seems like they've been playing the play calling maybe has just been, I don't know if it's a little different for this game or not, but we saw the Mustangs, they fumble twice, they turn it over twice, and you were talking about if you don't win the turnover battle in this sport, you're not going to be successful. 2 turnovers compared to 0, Century definitely has the advantage, and just hopefully the Mustangs can get it to their playmakers. I would say, you would have to give it to Race Wilson more, and see if he can make a play in the open field and make them stop him out of the backfield.
I think you're right in that it's your playmakers, your most dynamic athletes are the ones that are going to have to touch the ball more in the second half, because they're the ones that give you the best opportunity to make something happen dynamically on the field. So that's what you're going to need to do as an offense, is get it in those guys' hands. But let's not forget, Coach Wingenbach knows this team. They squared off in 2 Dakota Bowl games that Century was able to win. Of course, since then, Cheyenne's kind of had their number, but Coach Wingenbach knows that this offense isn't greatly different from the one it was when Century won 2 times in the Dakota Bowl. And the one thing that we saw in those Dakota Bowls and what we're seeing tonight is controlling the line of scrimmage. Now, it's been both defensive lines, but it's the 2 turnovers that are the difference. When you give up that short field, when you have 10 yards to go, that's a lot to ask a defense to do. That's the first touchdown, and then just really a great pass. There's not a lot you can do about that, but a great pass by Barth with about 4 minutes left in the second quarter was a huge difference maker, and that's what put them up 14-0.
Well, I mean, you talk about the perfect throw. I mean, for Jolson making it was a perfect execution by both the receiver and the quarterback. The quarterback making a dot like that, throwing a dart like that, over
just a
over
flight
Olsen.
pattern.
Yeah.
Gave that inside look and cut to the outside pylon, and into the wind. Barth just floated that in perfectly, right in stride, and that Bryn Jolson runs it in for the touchdown, and
to make it over, a catch over your shoulder like that, that's even more impressive. So it was just a well-executed play, and just good coverage, but kind of got
there were 2
out.
Mustangs there, but just it was thrown in the only place. The only person who had a chance to catch that ball was Bryn Jolson. He comes down with it, and so
Better
we have a
offense,
14-0. Yeah, that was just great execution.
Well,
certainly taking care of the ball. Maybe, you got to talk to your defense about looking to punch the ball out of some ball carriers' hands, looking for that strip, see if there's a way that you can get a turnover. You mentioned Marcus Johnson at the beginning of the game in the pregame as far as that great pick 6 he had against the Packers. We've got to have something dynamic happen either on special teams or defense. See if we can get the crowd involved. See if we can flip the field. Cheyenne, I don't know that they crossed midfield at all in the first half.
They did.
I don't know that they did. And so when you play from your end and you're looking at 60, 70, 80-yard drives every time you touch the ball, that's a lot. What you need to get is that turnover, restart at your opponent's 35-yard line or something like that. That's what fires up a team. So we're about ready to get going here.
Yeah, this is going to be, and I think this is good for Cheyenne to experience something like this. But obviously you don't want to be in this situation.
No, this is not the game that you want to be in it, but that's where it is.
That's where it is, and this is where you can show what you're truly made of. Like now that when it hits the fan, you got to find a way to climb yourself out of situations like these. That's what great teams do. Sometimes even the best teams are going to, get dug in. They're going to dig themselves into some holes, and the other team's going to come out hotter. So here we go. The second half is underway, and here's going to be a return up the middle here, and almost broke free there. Great return by Peyton Art, and he gets up.
Past it looks
up to the 40, past the 35 and up to the 40. Almost broke free there for a touchdown. Like I said, if they got a touchdown right away, that would have been extremely deflating.
Oh, yeah.
to start the second half.
Like we said, I think this has to be a quick stop. If there's a possibility for Cheyenne to start getting back into into this game, they have to find a way to stop them here. If they don't, boy, that would really seem to be almost insurmountable for the Cheyenne offense the way it's designed.
Absolutely, Dan. 1st and 10 here from the 40, and this is going to be a handoff to Arn. And great tackle there made by Nick Renner.
Otterson turns him.
Yeah, Olsen slowed him down there, and Nick Renner just finished it off. So 2nd and 8. It was about a 2-yard gain there by Arndt. He certainly has had the major amount of, he's had most of the carries for the Patriots this evening. And if I remember correctly, I think that was a position change. I believe Peyton Arndt did play quarterback last year, and then he switched to running back. He's certainly looking good at the running back position. And, Barr spins out of trouble and almost caught number 3, Tanner Ock, was there.
Yeah, that was great job by Carter Menz blowing that up. He couldn't quite get his hands on Barth, but Barth spins out of it and has to unload quickly. And, you know, a 3rd and 8. This is step 1, right? And I think you're right, Jackson. You said, you know, don't panic. There's a lot of football to be played, and there is. But you can't afford to make a mistake, a crucial mistake. So here's where you can't get beat deep. You can't let someone get behind you. Everyone's got to play their position. And defensively, we said playing in space as a key to the game. And there's that little.
Yeah, Barth's going to throw it to his left, and it's completed to number 8, Tate Erickson.
Yeah.
And he picks up the first down.
That's that rub play. As you watch the replay.
The drag route.
Hit that drag route. You get the 2 receivers crossing in the middle. It's intentional to try and see if you can cross some traffic and hang up that defensive back and spring the other receiver, and that's exactly what they did. Huge pickup.
Yeah, that was just a really good play call by
Gain
Coach
of
Ron
about 18
Wingenbach.
there, yeah. And so now we have the Patriots inside Mustang territory again.
It's going to be 1st and 10 from the 40. Century 40 yards away from going up by 3 scores, and this is going to be a handoff to Arndt again. A dive to the left side. A couple on that.
22, Peyton Arndt on the carry. Stop was made by number 56, Ryder Weigel.
Ryder Weigel with the tackle. Or the stop, I should say.
2 brings up 2nd and 8.
2nd and 8.
Yeah. And this is where we were, you know, in the last set of downs here. You know, Cheyenne put Century in a hole, a big hole, a 3rd and 8 sort of situation. So the defense, again, is going to be called upon to try and do something special here as Barth looks to go outside, and there's
nowhere to
there.
go, and Menz with
That's
the stop.
Carter Menz. He maybe gets a yard out of that, but you're going to bring up a 3rd and 7. Unfortunately, this is 4-down territory for Century, so now you're going to have to stop them twice if you're the Mustangs, where if you had stopped on that first 3rd down opportunity here in the 3rd quarter, they probably would have had to punt. But now at the Mustang 38, you know this is most likely, unless there's some big loss on this, that this is probably going to be 4-down territory for the Patriots.
Certainly with the 2-score lead. 3rd and 8 from the 38. Barth drops back, looks to his left, has a man, and it is caught! And that's going to be a touchdown, Peyton Arndt. And it's going to be a 3-score lead for Bismarck Century.
Yep. Floated well by Barth there, just dropped it in perfectly. And now down 20-0. Cheyenne certainly has its work cut out pending the PAT.
Boy, man, it's just utter disbelief right now. But you know, Century's just outplaying Cheyenne.
They are.
There's just no other way to put it.
No,
and it's really frustrating to see if you're a Mustang fan. And so there's only 21 minutes to go here in this football game in regulation, and you're down 3 scores. You don't got a super amount of time left. You got to make something happen here on this next offensive drive.
And we said no margin for error. And you know, the defense gives up that touchdown, you know, the missed PAT. But if you're Cheyenne, if you score, you're almost putting yourself in a position to go for maybe 2, you know, looking at this, as we have another Century player down here on that PAT. So Coach Newton meeting with his offense there near midfield. We'll find out what kind of adjustments they talked about at halftime and see if they're able to find a way to start making some positive gains here. Now you almost have to try and get some chunk plays, you know, see if you can find a way to get a 20 or 30-yard run or some kind of pass play, something like that. Century uses almost 3 minutes off of the clock to get that touchdown.
This is what the playoffs are all about.
It is.
You cannot underestimate a team, and you know I think that is what has happened from you know, my point of view, in my opinion, I just think that, you know, some of these guys came in here with a lackluster mindset saying, oh, Century, yeah, their last 3 wins came against, you know, maybe weaker squads, but that doesn't matter. There's still wins a win. And, you know, Century has won 3 games in a row now. Cheyenne's coming into this one with 7 wins in a row, but, you know, it's all about the team who's ready to play, and certainly Century was the team that was prepared for this coming into this game. So Mustangs are going to have to make a late second half comeback here. This is where we could see what this team's really made of. I mean, the offense that the Mustangs run is not necessarily designed to come from behind, especially 21-0. I mean, 7-0 is nothing, but 21-0, a 3-score lead, that is something. And, you know, Century is, we'll see if their defense holds on.
So it'll start with the playmakers for the Mustangs here. As the kick comes, this one should be returnable for Wilson.
And he does. He fields it inside the 10, and Wilson's going to run hard up the middle. And Wilson trying to fight for yards, but he's wrapped up and stopped just inside the 30. This is probably the biggest offensive drive of the game, and this is, if you don't score here, you are really going to put yourself in, you know, the deepest of holes. 8:56 to go here in the third quarter.
First and 10 for the Mustangs from their own 28-yard line.
It's going to be all about leadership here from here on out. Who is going to be the guy that will step up? And I think that's what's going to come down to if you're on the Mustangs.
Well, you got to find somebody who can make a play, and as we said, you got to go to your playmakers.
Yep. Here we go to Race Wilson here up the middle, just no gap to be found. That is not working for the Mustangs. Tyler Burst with the tackle. Great play.
And number 9, Gavin Lill.
And Gavin Lill also got a piece of the action on that stop. 2nd and 8. In the game-defying drive here. Deere's going to drop back. Looks over the middle, and no guy to be found. Overthrown.
Yeah.
He's looking
He
for
was
Race Wilson.
Race Wilson there, but he was covered short and long, and just really no opportunity there. So that'll bring up a 3rd and 8 for Cheyenne, and you almost have to think you're in 4-down territory almost anywhere because you have to get something out of this drive.
3rd and 8. 8:22 to go here in the third quarter.
Don't have to get it all on this play, but you got to make it a 4th and manageable.
And Deere's going to roll to his left side here. He's going to throw across his body. He has Caden Rar on that.
Great pass to Rar. Good.
And there you go. That is something you need there. You move the chains.
Yep.
Good job. Now make something out of it.
Yep. See if you can keep moving that. I think if you're Cheyenne, you also have to have a little sense of urgency. You can't waste a lot of time in a huddle here. That we're at 8 minutes here in the third quarter. You got to make sure that you have things moving the right way. And Wilson just kind of loses his footing. Looked like there was maybe going to be an opportunity to get some yards, but falls forward only for about 1.5 yards or 2.
Excuse me, a 1.5-yard gain.
1.5-yard gain there. Wilson just unfortunately tripped up.
I think he was looking for where to make it, to put that foot in the ground and get upfield, and just kind of tripped up by the turf.
Caleb Deere's going to drop back, pump fakes, escapes trouble there, and Caleb Deere's going to throw it, and he has it. That's Aiden Knodel inside the 40. Biggest play of the evening.
You know, great job by Deere to escape and extend that play, but good job by Knodel to not give up on the play, to keep working his way across the middle.
There you go.
And Deere is able to find him, and this crowd is trying to get into this, trying to get some momentum going here for the Mustangs.
And here we go. It's, you know, the tempo's picking up. This one's going to go to Rar up the middle inside the 35.
You know, and that's one thing, Jackson. Century uses a lot of two-way players, and as this game wears on, that's going to start to wear these guys down. And I think if you're Cheyenne, you pick up this pace, and a couple of those passes, now suddenly, look, we get 5 yards on a run up the middle.
Here we go.
And here's another run.
It's going to go to Wilson.
And he's going to get about 4 and bring up a 3rd and short. This is the type of explosiveness that everyone's been waiting for the entire game.
And this is the tempo you need to play at, you know, especially when you're behind
you have
like
to,
this.
Yes, there's not a choice anymore. Sometimes you can make that decision and try and get your defense on its heels. And we talked about adjustments, whether this is out of necessity or just a decision made by the coaching staff. This is getting them what they want, as we see.
He's going to go to Renner, and he gets inside the 25.
There's a good 6-yard run by Nick Renner. So they are moving the ball. There is a sense of urgency, and the Mustang fans are starting to get into this.
It's 6 minutes to go here, so a score here would be good, and then you got to get a quick stop right after. Caleb Deere is going to go to his right. Wilson's going to go downfield, and Caleb Deere is going to, oh, great juke! Makes it, 2 guys miss, and Caleb Deere is inside the 10.
He waved Wilson to go to the
he made 2 defenders
to the back end and to go to the end zone, and that the Patriot linemen, the pursuers, the rush, thought for sure that was going to be a pass, and then when they came for him, he just slips right between them. They collide, and good pickup for a first down. So it's 1st and goal from the 9 with 6 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter.
And this is certainly going to make the defense tired. And here's going to be a handoff to Caden Rahr.
He's going to get about 4 out of that one.
Look at this. Now they're at the 5.
And this crowd has just been waiting for something to explode on. And
we've been waiting for it, Dan.
Well, yeah. You know, this is what people, I think, would have expected going into this game, especially looking at the playoff seedings going in. You would expect this is the type of thing that Sheyenne would do game in and game out, and they have for most of the year. But this looks like a completely different team here in the second half.
Here we go, a fake handoff. Caleb Deere, he's going to look and rolls to his right, and he's going to keep it again, and Caleb Deere is going to be tackled or pushed out of bounds right around the 3.
So 3rd and goal from the 3. You got to come away with 6.
You got, you know,
There's
you got
no
2
option
plays
here. Yeah, 2 plays.
Noonan emphasizing the importance here.
Protect the ball. Take care of the ball here.
Yes.
This is not where you try for try to do more than what's needed. Just hold on to the ball and you know, keep those legs churning and see if you can get something to pop into the end zone.
5:18 to go here. 3rd and goal from the 3. And it's going to be a run here up the middle. Caden Rahr trying to fight his way into the end zone. He's stopped.
Gets about 1.5, so
now
4th and goal. This is big.
This is the biggest play of the game for sure. Fourth and goal from the 2. 4:50 to go here. The Mustangs need to get a score if they're going to have any chance of getting back in this football game. Caleb Deere's going to give it to Caden Rahr. Caden Rahr's in for the touchdown up the middle. And the Mustangs are on the board finally with 4:34 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Caden Rahr with a hard run up the middle. Nice job there. And, you know, here we go. Let's see if this flips the tables. They need to get a quick stop now, Dan.
They do have to, you know, they weren't able to on the last possession, and they do this time, or they finally got that score, but definitely, and they're going to go for 2, and they're going to get it right there.
Oh, how about that? Look at that. That was by number 81, Grant Knodel.
Knodel,
he
Mustang media team member, produced the volleyball match last night, catches a 2-point conversion the next day. Man of many talents.
Here we go, 20-8, 4:34. There's 16 minutes and 34 seconds to be played. But like we said, now it's got to be a quick stop. You don't want to have Century just chew out the clock. Get a quick stop and get a quick score, and now you're definitely back in the football game.
So Jackson, in the first half, you mentioned, you know, how will the Mustangs respond and who's going to step up and those sorts of things. You know, it's easy to play from when you have the lead if you're Century. You know, everything has gone right for you to this point in the game. Now this is the first time that you haven't been able to, you know, have your way, and this is the first adversity that they're kind of facing this game. So we'll see how they respond, see if they're ready for this, or, you know, if it's just one of those things, hey, we were ahead and we were just flying along and that's fine, or if they're prepared for this, if they have the leaders that are going to be able to handle this.
So Chase Allen with the kickoff here from the 40, 20-8 now. And that was just a well-executed drive. The tempo was up, and we'll see if the defense can come through. The defense got a lot of good stops in the first half. They also let up a couple big touchdowns to Brent Jolfson and Peyton Nart, and this one's going to be recovered, almost recovered by the Mustangs, but great stop, pushes him back behind the 30.
It's always good to see guys that don't handle the ball when they get their hands on it. And, you know, the Mustangs, they were looking to rip that one out of there and see if they could cause a turnover. Century holds on to it, but this is probably as poor a field position as Century has had the entire game. Now let's see if Menz or one of the other guys on defense, Renner, Marcus Johnson, see if someone can come up with a big play.
20-8
to keep that momentum going for the Mustangs.
4:29 to go here in the third quarter. 1st and 10 for Bismarck Century at the 31. And there's going to be a play. It might be a false start, yep. And that's going to be
no. I think that's a timeout by Coach Wingenbach. Whatever they had set up, he did not like the way that looked, and so Century's going to take a timeout here.
And we're going to go to a commercial break. Century leads 20-8 with 4:28 to go here in the third quarter.
We've talked about Jackson. Cheyenne has to come up with a stop here as we're down to 4 minutes left in the third quarter. You know, the one pass play that's consistently worked for Century has been that drag route and that kind of pick play across the middle. We'll see if they go to something like that. And there's that one is a false start.
That's going to be a false start, and that's going to be 5 yards back.
So now a 2nd and 12 situation. And that's exactly, if you're Cheyenne, that's exactly what you want to see.
2nd and 12.
So 2nd and 12 now. Turnover would be big here. 3:35 to go here in the third quarter. 2nd and 12. After the false start. Oh, it looks early there.
Yeah,
and pressure's forced. That's caught by number 8, Tate Erickson.
It was a good catch. Really good sidearm throw by Barth as he had Menz bearing down on him. He just kind of sidearms it underneath the outstretched hands of Menz and makes a completion, but they only pick up 3.
Ross Olson with the stop there.
3rd and 9 now upcoming for Century. So this has got to be a stop for the Mustangs. See if you can flip the field, get a chance to get the ball back with time left in the third quarter. See if you can tack one more on late in the third, early in the fourth, and then it becomes a different situation, that's for sure.
3rd and 9, 2:40 to go. This is going to be huge. Barth drops back, pressure being forced, and it's incomplete, and the Mustangs get a big-time stop.
Thrown a little behind Twardarski there, and as he was trying to reel it in, figuring that there would be a Mustang bearing down on him. He was unable to haul it in. And, you know, if you're smart here for Century, you have to punt. 2 guys deep to receive, so they're looking for a return here, see if they can get an opportunity to receive the ball. Returners move up a little bit here.
Schlichting almost got a hand on that. This is going to be huge. And, ooh, Dylan Bile decided to go for it.
Punt is fielded by number 1 Dylan Bile. Tackles made by number 18 Rivers Martin.
And letting them just get it right there, and that was right around the 39, or excuse me, the 41.
So good starting field position. See if they can continue that momentum they built on the last drive.
59 yards to go, and 2:23. So we still have time here in the third quarter. A quick drive here is going to be key. You got to manage. You got to look at the clock and say, hey, a quick score is needed here. Another quick score, and then get a stop again. Just trade off, scores and stops. Kanega with the run up the middle, up past the 45.
Good gain of 4. Second and medium. That's what Sheyenne lives on. That diet of second and medium, third and short. And, you know, those pass plays has got Century thinking a little bit about that, and that's opened up that middle a little bit. And we mentioned with their number of guys that go both ways for them, it's asking a lot.
And Caleb Deere is going to he's going to pitch it to Wilson.
Oh, good open
tackle
field tackle.
There. Great tackle there made by number 15, Blake Ursland.
That was a great open field tackle, especially on someone with Race's speed.
Great angle.
Only a pickup of 1 or so on that one, so that's going to bring a 3rd and 5 on this guy.
3rd and 5. It's going to go to Wilson. He cuts back to the right, gets tackled right around the 50. He's going to be 2 yards short.
He's going to get 3 of those 5. So brings up a crucial 4th down here for the Mustangs at 4th and 2 from midfield.
That'll bring up 4th down and 2 for the Mustangs from the midfield stripe.
See what Coach Newton dials up for this play.
Here we go. Almost.
Low snap.
Low snap. Deere's going to roll out.
But
he has Dylan Bile.
Great job handling the low snap by Deere. He didn't panic. Bile wide open on that little flat route. He was wide open there, just over the outstretched hands of number 15, Blake Ursland. Finds his man, keeps the chains moving as we're under a minute to go here in quarter number 3. Mustangs still down 20-8.
Caleb Deere drops back again, and he's going to look deep here and has a man. Oh, Dylan Bile almost caught it.
Bile wants that one back. He knew he should have hauled that one in. That was well positioned, well thrown by Deere, and that was one that looks like it just got on Bile a little quicker than what he was expecting and couldn't get his hands up quickly enough to haul that one in. I think if you're Sheyenne doing that, that's going to continue to make Century think a little bit defensively. That should soften up the middle and give you some running lanes if you continue to look upfield. An empty backfield again, 4 receivers for the Mustangs.
And here we go. Caleb Deere is going to look to his left and almost had him in. Oh, could have been intercepted.
Little too much juice on that one. I don't know that one had to be zipped in. I mean, Noah Olson was able to get his hands on it, but that was just a little high and just a little too much zip on that guy. So now 3rd and 10. Now you're kind of painting yourself in a corner, so to speak, here in terms of your play selection on a 3rd and 10 opportunity. Unless there's something you can string out and maybe get to the edge, you're almost looking at having to pass again as we look to twin receivers on both sides.
Caleb Deere's going to drop back, looks deep.
And overthrows.
And that's overthrown. So after a nice completion to Dylan Bile, it's 3 straight. 2 of them were intended for Dylan Bile, and now it's 4th and 10. This is going to be a tough spot here.
You feel like you have to go with it with 16 seconds left here in the 3rd. You almost have to walk away with points on this possession. But 4th and 10, this has got to be one of those that you know, that special play, you open up that certain part of the playbook that you don't normally go to, and maybe see if you can get something going with this.
Caleb Deere drops back again. He's getting pressure. And incomplete. It's Century with the much-needed stop.
I think that was Bryn Jolson.
Yep.
Who gets in and knocks it away. That was good defense by him. Gets in and knocks that away. So Cheyenne's going to turn it over on downs with 10 seconds left in the third quarter.
Much-needed stop for Century. It's going to be a pitch here to the right side. Now he cuts back, and great cutback there by Gavin Lowe.
There's going to be a hold on that one. Strung out really well by the Mustang D. I think they're going to get Century for a hold on that against Carter Menz.
Holding against Bismarck Century.
So works just as well. Quarter hasn't elapsed yet. They're going to back them up, so you've got a 2nd and 20 here. And even better, you're backing your opponent up, putting them in a deeper hole than they had to start with. So 1st and 20.
10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Back
2 seconds here in the third.
And they wind the clock. That'll bring us to the end of the third quarter.
Century leads 20-8 here going into the fourth quarter. We're going to take a short break and step away. We'll be right back for the start of quarter number 4.
Here, when your future lies ahead, we help set you on the right course. When your whole world is about to change, we help you prepare for your new life. When staying healthy means staying informed, we help you find answers. This is perseverance, understanding, connection. These are remarkable people doing remarkable things together.
Back, folks. We got a scoring update here as we get into the fourth quarter. Davies leads Bismarck Legacy 28-0, and Shanley leads Minot 42-7. We got a read here for you.
Bell Bank Mortgage is proud to support the West Fargo Cheyenne Mustangs. Rates are great, so if you're considering moving up or maybe even becoming a homeowner for the first time, talk to the experts at Bell. We'll help you make home happen. Bell Bank Mortgage, equal housing lender. Go Mustangs.
Thank you, Dan. So 20-8. Going into the fourth quarter here, Century got away with a stop there, much needed one to avoid to prevent the Mustangs from scoring 2 times in a row. But now there was a holding call on that first play of this new drive, so it's deep in the Patriots' own territory here. And Barth's going to roll to his left, and knocked away. Great coverage there by Marcus Johnson.
Great job by Johnson, and looks like maybe a cramp there.
Number 21, Marcus Johnson on the cover.
For the receiver. Immediately went down and was pointing for a teammate to come and stretch out that calf. So,
man, those cramps just look nasty.
Yeah,
that's.
We'll see if they can get that
worked
out a little bit here.
That was Brynjolfsson.
That would be a huge loss. He goes both ways for the Patriots, and so looked to be just a cramp and probably something that needs to be worked out. But as the trainers attend to him there, and so this is 2nd and 25 here. If you're Century, I would think you don't want to get this all back in one big chunk. If you do, that's awesome. But if not, just try and eat at this. Even if you have to punt, that's okay. If you can get about 10, 15 yards of this back, get it back to the original line of scrimmage, look for a punt, see if you can hold Cheyenne again. We're at 11:55 here. Obviously for Cheyenne, this is a situation where you have to come away with points now in every possession. There's just no other way around it.
There's no
This
no
defense, I'm sure, still looking to see if they can cause a turnover, see if they can bat a ball,
Pick 6 would be nice.
Pick 6 would be very nice.
That would save us plenty of time to get another stop if we were to get a pick 6. You can only imagine Marcus Johnson came up with another one. He certainly would be the guy to do it. Made a great play on that last play there, and it's a fake handoff to Lil. Barth's going to keep it up the middle. Quarterback keeper up past the 30, so it's going to be 3rd and long, over 20 yards to go. Carter Menz with the stop.
Hey, Mustang fans.
3rd and 23, 3rd and forever for the Patriots. But when you hold the 20-8 lead, that's okay. I don't think you need to necessarily try and risk anything by going for a pass here. Probably another kind of RPO look like they did last time. Punt it away, put the pressure back on Sheyenne to try and make something happen offensively.
3rd and 23, 11 minutes to go in this quarterfinal matchup between the Patriots and the Mustangs. Barth is going to look deep here, and it's picked off. What a play! How do you do? Marcus Johnson, and I called it. He was the guy to make an interception. He did it right there in the most dramatic fashion. Holy cow.
Great extension, great interception by Johnson. He reads it, undercuts the pass, undercuts the receiver, and comes away with the pick. Works almost a little bit like a punt in that it was such a deep pass. But again, Cheyenne going to have the ball in good position.
And 11 minutes to go. There's plenty of time. It's got to be, it'd be nice to get a quick score. Can't take up too much clock. But boy, Marcus Johnson just stepping up again in a much needed moment.
Rar with only a gain of 2 on that one.
Certainly you want to take advantage of that well-made play by Marcus Johnson now. The defense stepped up. You gotta pick him up now here.
Cheyenne going with the trips look left, empty backfield.
2nd and 9. Caleb Deere's going to keep it to the right side, and he's going to get out of bounds.
15, Caleb Deere on the keeper. Chased out by number 50, Jackson Wall.
Pretty minimal pickup. Going to lead about 3rd and 7 here. Cheyenne giving that look of the that trips look to the left side of their formation, and then Deere running to the right, hoping to see if they could catch the Patriots off guard, but no doing. Same look here on this play for the Mustangs.
Caleb Deere's going to look to that side, and never mind, he's going to roll to his right side, looks deep. And it's intercepted, I believe, right back at Century.
And Brynjolfsson.
Brynjolfsson coming up with a big time interception,
and
that's just.
There goes the same calf or whatever it was that was cramping up for it. He makes the huge play and then immediately calls for the training staff once again, but he made the play that counted the most.
So yeah, hopefully Brynjolfsson gets those cramps straightened out here. We're gonna step away and take a short break. Century just gets the interception. They lead 20-8 here. So we're back here after Brynjolfsson came up with a big-time interception right after Marcus Johnson intercepted Barth. Caleb Deere throws an interception of his own, and now that's 3 turnovers that the Mustangs have had here. And certainly, you can't have that happen, especially late in this football game in a quarterfinal matchup. 10-17 to go here in the game. That's just deflating, and you can't have that.
Well, and that's the hard part is you need chunks of yardage. You need to score quickly, and so you're trying to press a little bit. You're trying to make some more happen, but then that brings in that danger of turning the ball over. You're throwing that ball up in the air, and we've talked about that the Sheyenne offense is designed more to play from the lead than from behind. As Barth keeps that one and gets one as we're now under 10 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. Mustangs down 20-8.
Certainly 10 minutes away from, one of the biggest upsets we've seen in North Dakota high school football playoff games in a while. A number 8 seed over a number 1 seed on their, coming into their home field and doing this. Barth rolls to his right. It's knocked away by Marcus Johnson.
Great job. Renner blitzed from his linebacker position. Puts the heat on Barth. Still delivered pretty well, but Marcus Johnson was there. And now a 3rd and 9 situation for Century.
3rd and 9, 9:35 to go here in the fourth quarter. Mustangs really need to get the ball back here again, and hopefully they can just find a way to get it down the field quickly and get a quick score, because you're running out of time here. I mean, you got to make something happen here. Down 2 scores, 9:35 to go here. We'll see what happens. 3rd and 9 from the 30-yard line.
And there's going to be another timeout by Wingenbach. Looks like, do you guys not know the play that was called? But smart move on his part. When you're playing with the lead, leave nothing to chance. You're probably not going to be in a situation where you are the one that has to save those timeouts for a last possession. So you take them when you need them, and that was a smart timeout. Chance to get with your offense, make sure everybody knows what's going on, and then hopefully be able to carry out and execute what you have. If you're Sheyenne, that last play, we saw Renner blitz from his linebacker position, and that's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to try and force Century into a bad play, a bad pass, something like that. So you're going to have to bring some heat, which is going to leave some exposed areas of the field. Leaves you vulnerable to a big play, but when you're down 20-8 with under 10 to go in the fourth quarter, you don't have a whole lot of choice.
Or you get back to action here after the smart timeout called by Ron Wingenbach. It's going to be 3rd and 9 here from between the 31 and 30-yard lines. You could call it the 30-and-a-half-yard line. Barth drops back, and Barth's going to look across the middle, and he almost had him. That was Gavin Lill.
He had Lill wide open and just a yard or two out of his reach. Great pass by Barth, but just a bit too much. That would have been the dagger right there if they had been able to pull that off. But as it is, it's a 3rd down failed conversion, and so at 4th and 9, Century has no choice but to go for the punt here. And again, Sheyenne putting 2 guys back, looking for a possibility of a return. Almost get to that one.
And a quick score is needed here. And that's going to be a fair catch by
Bile.
Dylan Bile.
So from their own 35, Sheyenne starts what could be their last or second to last possession of the year if they aren't able to get some points on this possession.
It's going to be from the 35. So it's going to take 65 yards here. This one's going to go to Caden Rahr up the middle. And that is not the play call that you need if you're down 2 scores. You got to kind of find a way to mix up. You don't want to just chuck it down the field every time, but you also can't run it up the middle like that.
Yeah. And so Cheyenne goes no huddle, urgency time now. As Deer's going to roll out,
yeah,
scans the field, and
he's just looking to find a way, and Caleb Deer cuts back to the right, and he gets a push out of bounds right around the 43.
So the good news on that, there was positive yards from that. What turns from a 2nd and 9 now is a 3rd and 3. Under 9 to go now in the fourth quarter.
3rd and 3, 8:51 to go. From the 42, Caleb Deer rolls to his right, gets pressure.
Great pass.
The pass is caught right around the 45. Race Wilson with the reception.
Great job by Race to keep running that route. He had room. Good patience by Deere. Bile was the short receiver, and he was covered up, and then he saw Wilson streaking across on that drag route, hits him, moves the chains. And Cheyenne's in business, probably calling 2 plays per huddle at this point, because you're going to need to continue to keep this up-tempo pace of play as Cheyenne's in a
Deere's going to look to his left, and another reception there. Breaks a tackle, gets tackled right around the 40. That is Race Wilson again.
Good job by Race to bounce off that first tackle attempt. Get a few more yards out of that. That could have been a minimal gain, but Race turns it into something. Looks like he gets 4 out of that to bring up a 2nd and 6.
Second and 6, 8:15 to go. Running clock, Caleb Deere finds, that's Noah Olson, finds a man over the middle.
That'll move the chains again and stop the clock for a few seconds. So try and get quickly to the huddle and up to the line as the Mustangs are approaching the red zone.
And boy, wouldn't it be nice to just get a big-time play here with 8 minutes. Caleb Deere, pressure from his blind side, rolls to his right. He's gaining on him, but Caleb Deere used those long legs, just covering a lot of ground, and he gets pushed out of bounds, or he runs out of bounds at the 20.
That was a great job by Ole Taylor. He gets around the left tackle and puts pressure on Deere almost immediately, but Deere feels that and turns on the jets, and he eats up yardage, as you said, Jackson, with those long legs, and turns that into another first down as they're at the red zone at the 20-yard line of the Patriots.
Caleb Deere's good quarterback keeper up the middle, gets tackled right around the 17-yard line.
Gain of about 3.5 there. Again, back quickly to the huddle. 7.5 to go in the fourth quarter.
The nerves, especially for me, Dan, it's starting to just, that feeling in your stomach, it's just starting to really pick up here.
Yeah, you've got to make perfect plays. You got to execute here.
Here looks to his left. Dylan Bile was initially open, and now he's just going to be forced to throw it across his body. And
that's a tough throw, and just ends up short, and probably maybe just as well. Receiver there to Bile, he was pretty well covered. Lived to fight another day there, and a 3rd and 7 opportunity for Cheyenne.
Third and 7, 7:13 to go from the 17-yard line. And Deere's going to look to his right, has him.
No, that one short hop to Race Wilson on that one. So that's going to bring up a 4th and 7. And this is the season pretty much right here, I think. There's still 7 minutes left, but without some kind of miracle, Cheyenne has to make something happen here. So as we said, that special part of the playbook, that play that you've dialed up for just such a situation. Because if you don't move on tonight, it doesn't matter if you keep that play in the playbook and no one ever sees it. It might be really good, but if no one sees it, then it's all for naught.
So this is going to be it here. Caleb Deere gets pressure, and he's going to roll back to his left and throws across his body, and it's incomplete. And Century comes up with another stop that prevents the Mustangs from making it a game.
It was not a terrible pass. The defender was there right as the ball got there. It might have knocked it out. And Noah Olson unable to pick that up. So with 6:59 to go, Century takes over, and now I'm sure they're going to look to just run some clock at this point. And if you're Cheyenne, you have to decide, do you use your timeouts now on defense to get the ball back as quickly as possible, or how are you going to approach this? So with 6:59, again, I'd be shocked if Century puts this ball in the air at all. You just keep this on the ground, telling your running backs, do not go out of bounds. Don't give any opportunity for this clock to stop.
Yep, it's going to be a run up the middle.
Yeah.
Number 10, Ryan Barth on the keeper. Stop
And
21, Marcus Johnson.
if Century's been practicing this at all, they're going to run that play clock down to almost nothing before they snap the ball again. And that's going to bring the game clock almost down to 6 minutes before they snap the ball again.
Run up the middle once again. Nowhere to go. So it's going to be 3rd and 5 coming up. Paynar with the carry.
This is when you got to be going for the ball. You've got to be looking to see if you can strip that ball, if you can punch it out of there, something. It's good to wrap up and everything, but you've got to try and create a turnover as we're under 6 minutes to go. 3rd and 6 here for Century.
Barth's going to roll out, and it's going to be a pass, and
Wow.
it's going to be a first down, and what a play call. And well, oh, never mind. It's going to be – wait.
Yeah, no, it's
it
caught.
It'll be caught. The ball
That's
was
a first down. That's a brave call. You've got to have a lot of faith in that quarterback and that receiver if you're going to do that, and that's Erickson making the catch on a good pass by Barth. And now at 5:27, I think if you're Cheyenne, you almost have to start burning those timeouts on defense, and that's not probably what you want to do, but it's probably something you don't have a choice on now, as the clock's going to be at around 5 minutes when the next snap is taken here.
Paynar with the carry again.
No timeout taken.
Stop is made by number 25, Ashton Schaff.
Century in no rush, as they shouldn't be. Cheyenne going to have to look for a way to try and create a turnover here. Somebody to make a special play. As we're under 4.5 here now to go when the ball was snapped.
Paynar with the carry again, nowhere to go.
And if you're Century, just go down. At the first contact, as soon as you're wrapped up, just go down. Don't try and fight. That's going to give an opportunity for Cheyenne to look to strip the ball. And there goes the first time out for Jeremy Newton at 4:24 to go. And bringing up what looks to be about a 3rd and 11, 3rd and 12 situation. We'll see if Ron Wingenbach's going to go to the air once again, or if this time he's just content to keep it on the ground. If there is a punt, certainly the punt block team is going to be on. You have to go after that one.
.424 to go here, 3rd and 12.
Coming out of the timeout, it is 3rd and 12 for the Patriots.
And Century can just almost smell it. Great tackle by Nick Renner. So another
there goes the next timeout. So going to bring up a 4th and 12. Certainly Century you would think is going to punt here. Cheyenne going to plan for the punt block. Whatever you've dialed up, whatever special play you have to try and get to that punter and see if you can get a hand on it.
You know, really, Dan, you just gotta hand it to Century. I mean, honestly, it seemed like the tables were gonna turn here in the second half, and the Mustangs did have opportunities. They made stops, you know, you saw the interception by Marcus Johnson, but just the offense, just besides the one drive, just failed to execute. You know, they got down the field on these last couple drives, and then it's just like the drive stalled.
Yeah.
So Bile and Wilson back to receive again.
Low punt, but he gets it off.
Yeah, it's great punt, and Dylan Bile runs backwards to receive it, and he's going to be tackled right around
Good
the
open
36.
field tackle. Good job by Martin there in the open field. So 4:11 to go.
Now you're kind of in desperation mode at this point.
Yeah, with only one timeout, virtually everything has to be some kind of pass play, unless you see something where you think you might be able to get a chunk. No huddle situation. It's that 4-minute drill that you practice in those afternoon days when you're wondering, when are we going to need this? Well, this is the time that you've got to get going with this. Trips left for the Mustangs.
Deer drops back, looks to his left, pump fakes, and he's going to be, breaks out of the sack, keeps the play alive, intercepted, and that is going to be the dagger. And Bismarck Century is going to pull off
a huge upset. Yep.
This is going to be one of the biggest upsets North Dakota high school football has seen. Boy, and it looks like there is not going to be a back-to-back champion. Bismarck Century, their run for a third title in 4 seasons is going to remain alive here.
Again for Century, keep the ball on the ground, 4 minutes away from pulling off the big upset here at Essentia Health Stadium here at Cheyenne. Pickup of 2. I think Renner's hobbled a little bit on that one. Nope.
It's going to be a Century guy shaking up. We're going to step away for a short break. The Bismarck Century Patriots lead 20-8 here late in the game. We'll be right back after the injury timeout.
Our health. It's what keeps us doing what we love. It keeps our communities strong. So, how are you doing? There's no easier way to take care of yourself than checking in with us, your primary care team at Essentia Health. In person or online, we offer scheduling and appointment options that fit your life. We'll care for you today and keep an eye on things for the future. And if needed, get you back on track. So take some time to connect with us, because it's always good to check in.
So we're back, folks. You know, it's really heartbreaking to, you know, as you can see, Race Wilson there, you know, a guy, you know, especially for him, you know, plays so hard. This is going to be a heartbreaking loss for this Mustang squad, as Carter Menz chases down Peyton Arndt there. I mean, really, the Mustangs were really hungry to go back-to-back this year, and it looked, you know, certainly like they were going to do it. And, you know, Century just came in here tonight and just outplayed them, and that's just what happens sometimes. The best team doesn't. That's the thing about sports. The best team, or the team that's the favorite, doesn't always win. If you don't execute and you don't come and, you know, and take care of business and just, you know, underestimate an opponent, that is what happens. And that's, you know, that's just part of sports. You know, yeah, Century's run at, you know, they're looking for they win it all this year. Century, it will be their third title in 4 seasons.
I think that's going to be an illegal shift on that one.
Well, Fargo Davies' victory seems inevitable at this point. You know, so Davies is going to move on to the semis. Shanley's going to move on to the semis as well, I'm sure.
And Mandan was up on West Fargo, so
all the higher seeds in those 3 games have won, but this is going to be the only.
This is the only upset
playoff
of
game.
the evening.
Only upset of the evening out of the 4 matchups. And it's going to be the 8-1 game, which is a big-time shocker, too. You'd expect an upset to be maybe a 6-3 or 7-2, but boy, an 8-1, that's huge. And it's well-deserved by Bismarck Century.
Yeah, they played well tonight. Coach Wingenbach had them ready to go from the beginning.
It just goes to show you that records don't matter on paper when it comes to the playoffs.
Nope. And there's the last timeout used by Coach Newton. That'll bring up a 4th and about 11 or 12 with 2:36 to go.
Man, the Mustangs, this is just absolutely devastating. I mean, 8-1, and you're averaging 31 points a game, and coming into this matchup, 48-6 since 2018. It just seems like, oh, this is a new dynasty almost that that's developing. But it's certainly, if you don't go back to back, there's no dynasty there, and Century is just going to pull off probably one of the biggest wins in program history. And I mean, you don't see Bismarck Century as a number 8 seed often. They're usually the number 1 or number 2 seed. These are usually the top 2 teams, and they were in back-to-back years, and Century came out on top both years. And then last year too, for most of the season, they were the top 2 teams in the state poll, and Sheyenne came away with the victory here at home. It was 14-0. Oh, and a muffed punt, and Bismarck Century is going to recover it inside the 5, and that was muffed by number 13, Sullivan Irie.
So I think all Century has to do here at 2:26, they can probably just take a knee if they choose to.
I mean, they aren't inside the 5. I mean, but yeah, you don't really want to, etiquette-wise, you don't want to rub it in. But we'll see. I mean, I'm sure Wingenbach's a guy who has class.
Oh, absolutely.
Sure he's a great coach, and this team, Bismarck Century, throughout the 2010s is the most dominant team of the decade. And now they're the underdog coming into this, and they still pull out the victory. So they just see Ron Wingenbach finds ways to win, and man.
Yeah, they had a good game plan for tonight. There's no doubt about that. They executed well. And let's, we know how big that lead was for them, especially getting that second touchdown, that 14-point lead shortly before the end of the half. And putting Sheyenne really in that type of hole is pretty devastating for that offense. And then they come out right away and score on their first possession of the second half, as Arndt's going to just run that one in.
And it's going to be a touchdown by Barth.
Or Barth, I'm sorry.
Gavin Barth runs it in for a touchdown, and Bismarck Century is going to be up 26-8 now. It's got to be a heartbreaking finish for the seniors, man. I mean, this is their shot to go back-to-back and finish it off with a bang. And, to lose in the quarterfinals, the first round of the playoffs is just, at home it's something you don't want. And you can really empathize with those guys. And we can, feel the heartbreak up here. We want our team to win, Dan, and, when it doesn't happen and, when the season ends like this, it's just, it hurts.
It does.
The agony of defeat.
For any team, you walk into these games knowing that, if you lose, it's the end of the season. But no one projects that, obviously, and no one's expecting those sorts of things. And so it's so immediate when the realization sets in that your dream, that you've worked so hard for, that you did 2-a-days for in August in the heat, and all the things that you've worked for, and the hours in the weight room and all of those things. That's when it sets in that you're going to end up falling short of your goal. That's the hard part for all of these guys is just, falling short of that goal.
So 20-78 here, and it's going to be returned by Wilson, and he spins out of it, but tackled by number 7, Tyler Burst, and he's going to be short of the 25 there.
So at a minute 37, this is just academic. Cheyenne's going to try and make something happen here offensively, but being down 3 scores with a minute and a half left and no timeouts, it's just a matter of time at this point.
Mustangs take over 1st and 10 from their own 23-yard line.
Caleb Deere drops back, looks to his left. Pass is incomplete.
A little
he was
behind
looking for
Rar. Yeah, a little behind. Rar's momentum kept him going upfield, and the pass a little low and behind him. He had no choice or no opportunity to pull that one in.
Caleb Deere drops back again, escapes a sack there. He's going to keep it to his right side, and he throws, and that's intercepted again by Peyton Art, and Peyton Art's going to look to return this for 6. He won't, and he'll be tackled right around the inside the 10, and that is the, boy, that's the second interception, and that's the 4th turnover this evening. And yeah, like you said, Dan, 4 turnovers, it's hard to win a football game.
That's where it kind of began and ended tonight was with the turnovers. Obviously these last couple of interceptions, that's a function of the earlier turnovers, but that first fumble deep in your own territory, setting up the super short field for the Patriots, that was tough to get over, and then that second fumble that led to the score in the right before halftime, those were just killers. And there was even a third fumble that Deere was able to fall on, but there could be even one more turnover here as we look at the final result of this. But again, it doesn't matter what level you're playing at. It's a very rare team that can lose the turnover battle, and especially lose it on a 4-1 margin and still find a way to win. That just is such a rarity, and so that's what hurt Sheyenne tonight. A lot of credit to Century's defensive line. They made it really difficult for Sheyenne to execute their normal game plan, that ability to grind out those long drives and make that happen as we're down to 20 seconds left here in the game, and that's all.
That's all she wrote.
That's all. But that was a great job by Century and their defensive line tonight, really controlling that line of scrimmage, and really until the second half, Sheyenne couldn't get anything going, and only after they kind of loosened up and mixed in a mixture of run and pass, that was eventually what gave Cheyenne some opportunities. So fantastic job by the defensive line of Century, and some timely passing by Barth, and just really taking advantage of those turnovers.
Yeah, there will be no back-to-back champion this year. Bismarck Century knocks off West Fargo Cheyenne 27-8, comes into their house, and it's an 8-1 upset, and Century's going to move on to the semifinals to play Fargo Davies. They'll travel to Fargo Davies. Fargo Davies will now have a home game since they are a higher seed than Bismarck Century. And boy, yeah, you're right, Dan. That was just a well-executed win in the playoffs by Bismarck Century. And we shouldn't be, it's Ron Wing. That's what Ron Wingenbach does. Whether he has a losing record or not, he wins when it matters.
Yeah, he had his kids ready to play, and they executed the game plan very well, and really, we should keep in mind, it's not that Cheyenne has anything to hang their head about. It was another great season by Coach Jeremy Newton. This program has done a lot of great things, and the state championship last year when you're the number 1 seed, people are naturally going to look at this like maybe you underachieved, but this was a very solid team that played well the entire season, and it's heartbreaking for any program when your season comes to an end and you know you're not going to, reach the peak, reach the summit, but that's how sports works out. That's what you said. That's the deal. It's not always the higher seed that wins. It's the team that comes out and executes, and sometimes it's a little bit of luck, and sometimes it's a little game plan. It's a mixture of things, but it worked out for Century tonight, and unfortunately Cheyenne is going to fall short this year, the number 1 team in the state and the number 1 seed overall. That's how it works. That's sports in a nutshell.
That's the way sports are, whether it's basketball or football. I mean, we see it in basketball all the time. They call it March Madness for a reason, but that is the classic example of the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat, and Cheyenne was on the agony side tonight. And, yeah, I mean, it's hard to put into words right now, Dan. It hurts. It definitely hurts, not for just the fans, but really for the players, especially for the seniors. And, I'm sure Ron Wingenbach's going to humble his guys and say, hey, you guys got the W tonight, but there's a lot of work to be done if you guys want to win a state championship.
And sometimes teams kind of adopt and kind of follow that underdog role and say, why not us? Why can't we go in and pull this off? Why can't we continue that streak? And I guess we'll find out next week as from all indications it's Davies and Century, and then it's going to be Mandan and Shanley. And Shanley will travel out to Mandan for that one.
So, yeah, those are going to be exciting semifinal games, and we'll see who will, capture the crown this year. But, hey, we still got more playoff action coming up here, Dan. We got volleyball here. The EDC tournament's coming up. They got one more regular season game against West Fargo on Tuesday, and then, the volleyball team's going to look, maybe a chance to, make some history here, try to get to the state championship, hopefully. They're 28-2. I mean, this is the best regular season the volleyball team's had.
It is. Undefeated in the EDC right now, and really done a lot of special things. We saw their senior night last night, and we talked about how special those seniors are, the leadership they've provided for Coach Leah Newton this year. And on Tuesday, November 8th, that will be the first round of the EDC playoffs. After the play-in games the Saturday before, that'll be the first time for someone or for the higher seeds to host, and so we'll be on the mic for that one as the Mustangs will host the winner of the 8-9 matchup.
Yep.
So there's still a little bit to be determined by the regular season of the volleyball schedule, but we will definitely be on the air for that quarterfinal match.
And yeah, I hate to say that, but this is going to be this loss will hurt.
Yeah, it hurts. It's a bitter pill to swallow when you have a team that did so much and so much was expected from them. It's hard when you have to deal with the disappointment of a loss like this when you come in as easily the highest rated team and you just played this team a few weeks ago and handled them pretty easily. This is going to hurt. This stings for those seniors, but, the things you learn about yourself and about life from sports don't always come from winning. They come from, giving your best effort, and sometimes the most valuable lessons you learn is games that you aren't successful in. So
it's like getting punched in the gut. Yeah. It's like it sucks. But that's going to do it for tonight's broadcast. We think. Sorry, we had a, technical situation here. Anyways, that's going to do it for tonight's broadcast here tonight. Bismarck Century pulls off the upset over the number 1 seed West Fargo Sheyenne Mustangs 27-8, and Century will move on to the semifinal round against Fargo Davies, and in the winner of that game will play the winner of Mandan and Shanley in the Fargo Dome. The winner of those two games will play each other in the Fargo Dome for the state championship in a couple of weeks. We'll have some volleyball action for you guys coming up here. Make sure you subscribe to Mustang Media so you can get notifications on when we go live here on YouTube. And also check out our social media pages that are run by Riley Rahr on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. But that's going to do it for the football season. Heartbreaking end. Cheyenne finishes 8-2. Bismarck Century, improves to 4-6. 27-8, just a well-earned victory by Bismarck Century. So for Jackson Miller,
I'm Dan Wolf.
We'll see you guys on our next volleyball broadcast. Take care.
it we are. This is Rock Nation. Pledge your allegiance.